Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, shadow spawn of all types, variations, and ages. Thank you so much for tuning in to this special bonus dose of madness. We are here from the Black Tower podcast. My name is Josh. I am your Tzurvan Mahel, and we've got other people here too, and things are crazy. But first, I'm going to pass you over to Andrew, who's going to give you some learning.
Some learning.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you guys there, even though Josh was just talking for a little bit. Somehow I still magically didn't notice anything was going on. So, to make sure everybody is as protected as they possibly can be, this is a very short instructional video on a way to keep yourself protected, to roll on that protection for what you're about to see. So pay close attention, and don't worry, you'll get it in the end. So the following episode contains spoilers from the entire Wheel of Time series. I'm talking books 1, 2, 3, all the way through 14. And let's go ahead and include the prequel in there. It's going to spoil New Spring too, possibly. We'll see how it goes. Also, if you haven't read the companion or the Big White Book of Bad Art, it's probably going to spoil things in there too, if those haven't already spoiled the whole series for you. But if you haven't read everything, you are in danger.
Also, if you haven't watched the show,
yeah, it's going to spoil the show. So if you haven't watched the show, you might want to just...
For any time travelers,
yeah,
Doctor Who.
You know, there's going to be somebody be like, wait, there's already parts of the show out? What?
Well, there's not. We do not want to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not necessarily true, Josh. If they watch this on September 9th, 2021, then it will already be out.
You're right. You're right. I stand corrected.
Just saying.
The wheel weaves, brah.
It won't be the day we post this, though.
Daniel!
If you haven't read all 4 million plus words, go ahead and go and do that. And then come back and listen, because otherwise you're going to learn about things too early. And nobody wants to learn about things too early.
True. It's absolutely true. Thank you, Andrew. You, as always, are a beautiful part of this team. Daniel, my good friend, I'd like you to introduce yourself, please. Also, it seems like we got some pretty awesome people here with us today. Could you tell the listeners and or viewers what they've just gotten themselves into?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Josh, because yes, we do in fact have some very special people on with us. But before we get to that, I am Daniel, your Amin Khan Mahale. We're going to have a really great time tonight, so I hope you are prepared. And to make sure that we have some really good fun tonight, we have some very special people that most of you will probably know, at least one of them.
And if you don't, like, where have you been?
Likely all three. So we are going to start with our good friend here from the Dusty Wheel. We have our wonderful innkeeper, Senor Mitch.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and why we would like to know you.
Yeah, I'm the innkeeper. I run the Dusty Wheel. It's a live call-in talk show all about, you guessed it, the Wheel of Time. And yeah, we do live weekly shows, just discussing the TV show, the books, deep dives, stuff like this. We'll even probably touch on Robert Jordan's notes tonight. Maybe we'll we'll spoil some stuff there. So
Andrew didn't give a spoiler warning for Robert Jordan's notes.
Yeah, I don't have the notes. I don't have them.
Which is why Matt just went ahead and gave us some additional protection. He just rolled it down a little further.
Thank you, Matt.
And so now we're okay.
I'm all about keeping it safe.
Indeed.
Down to the origin, to the base of the series.
Yeah.
Yes. All the way down.
I'm happy to be here. Can't wait to actually express non-host-like opinions.
Yes, right? I like it.
That's why we do this.
We're happy to provide any opinions that you don't want your guests at the Dusty Wheel to hear.
That's right.
You can go ahead and say them now. So second, our next illustrious guest is from the channel Lezbi Nerdy. We've got our lovely avatar friend over here. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Whoop, whoop. Okay, yeah, no, I'm Jenny. I love the Wheel of Time, so I made a YouTube channel about the Wheel of Time. I also talk about other nerdy stuff. I'm a huge nerd. I recently like revealed in a video that when I was like in middle school, I had to in Sunday school, I had to like write out what my idea of heaven was, and everybody else wrote about like seeing my grandmother, and I wrote about a big library. And
Yes!
so,
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
it was a little embarrassing whenever I heard everybody else's, but yeah. No,
You're like,
Does that
I got the
also
wrong
involve
answer.
being kidnapped by a beast, or is that just an added bonus?
that might just be an added bonus.
Okay, cool.
Made me think of the what is it, the archaeologist. English failed.
The what now?
Yeah, the archaeologist
Use
from
other
Avatar: The
words.
Last Airbender. Yeah,
Ah,
okay.
I'm just like,
Yes,
no,
yes.
I'm staying with the library.
Exactly.
yes.
No, I totally understood him
The
when he
last
decided. I was like, yeah,
human
that's
who
exactly
said
what you
that
would do.
is still here.
That is a good.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's me.
Awesome. Well, we are glad to have you. Hopefully you can bring some of that wonderful additional nerdiness to all of us, who I would probably classify all of the rest of us as nerds, but
And
we
let's
are-
be nerdy.
Geeks.
Yes.
But, sure.
Ooh, you get the pun.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I never went there. So thank you.
I
See,
should
we're
also say,
already
just in case,
education.
Yeah. Lesbian nerdy, also lesbian. Just gonna put it, that's what
See?
the joke is.
You're
It's a pun.
taking those
Oh.
two things
Oh,
and you're meshing them.
I might have gone there.
wait, does that mean that you're a nerd who's in lesbian? Like
You're in
Scott
lesbians?
Pilgrim lesbian?
You're in lesbians with the Wheel of Time.
I'm totally
There
in
we go.
lesbians with the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Totally in lesbians with the Wheel of Time.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Well, we're glad you are here. And last, but certainly not least, we have all the way from across the pond, our lovely friend here from Malkier Talks. Senor, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the people over here in America, maybe, what you're like and what you do?
Marika.
Well, I'm not quite as far from you guys as Lesbi is, but yeah, I'm Malkier Talks, or Rob, as some people like to call me. I do Wheel of Time cooking on YouTube. I do theory podcasts. A little intimidated to be on with Matt, who started Theoryland, but you know, let's have some fun anyway. I do Tam jokes, which are basically just Wheel of Time dad jokes. Yeah,
Yes.
I do far too much stuff, but I have a lot of fun
And
doing it. So.
that
And I'm thrilled to be
that
here,
is all
you know?
that matters. If you're having fun, everyone's having fun.
Oh yes.
Side note, he's also the finest chef in Malkier. Bar none.
Hands down.
I'm the only one in Malkier, so it's not difficult.
Wait,
I was
does that,
trying to give
does
you
that
something
mean you're
there.
also the worst chef in Malkier?
No. Schrodinger's chef?
Schrodinger's chef. I'll go with that. Schrodinger's
Are
chef.
you
I like
also
that.
the
That works.
second
Happy with
best swordsman in Malkier? Or does
Yeah.
Nynaeve beat you?
that. I mean, it's tough to compete with that braid, isn't it? So
It
He
is.
plays a, he plays a mean Rand at a table
He's
read.
definitely the
That's
true.
sexiest chef
Yeah.
in Malkier.
Hey,
Oh.
I'll drink to that.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. All right, guys. So now that we have our wonderful cast of characters here, we can start on our topic for the evening. Andrew, I will toss it back to you for a moment to go ahead and tell the people a little.
Caught it. It almost hit me in the face,
Nice
but I
catch.
got it.
Nice
A
catch.
little bit about what they can expect going forward here for the next
Hashtag reflexes.
however long we're here.
The next freckle past the hair, past the random scab. All right. So if you've seen our YouTuber panels before, you already pretty much know how this is going to happen. This is kind of a round robin style panel where we have an overarching topic, and then each individual. What is wrong with my English?
Yes. The individual
Person that you see here on the screen will have an opportunity to bring forward their opinion on the topic or whatever they want to bring to the table about the topic, and then we'll go around the panel and discuss our reactions to what they've said, our interpretations, whether we agree, disagree, whatever the case is. If it's something that can be voted on, like we think this is a good thing or a bad thing, we agree or disagree, then we will. If it's something that there's been so much discussion about that it's going to be too hard to have a vote on, then we might just put a pin in that to never come back to again. So let's be honest, we're going to forget.
Pretty significantly.
We have. So for this thing, I will dual role as a participant as well as the moderator. So I'll step in if anybody's getting far too long-winded. I don't foresee that happening, except for like maybe one of us from BTP. So we do podcasts. I mean,
right at the
I know you guys
beginning, I think we'll be okay. But
Yeah.
once Malkier Rob finishes his drinks, there might be a problem.
This
near
is
the
gonna be
end.
good.
We'll see.
I don't know. Well,
when you main
Basically-
podcast, you get into talking a lot. You're so used to just talking. So it's mainly
It's true.
for me to sit here and try to hopefully control less. And whenever I start talking, Josh and Daniel oftentimes will both sit there and send me a message and be like, hey, why don't you shut the fuck up?
It's true. It
Sometimes you need
happens
it.
frequently.
So,
It's
but that's
true.
how this
It's
goes.
the little red light.
But I think, Josh, you know what the topic is. I mean, we all do, but
I do know what the topic is. And if you guys would like to hear it, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you go through the descriptions. And I'm kidding, but do go through the description here and like and follow these other fine panelists because they're amazing people and they deserve your love, admiration, and virtual approval.
Actually, I think what we're going to do,
Today,
Josh, go ahead and give them the first half of the topic. And then we'll switch over and give the rest of the topic to only our Patreons.
Wait.
And then...
oh,
wait, sorry.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Suckers.
sorry. I was EA for a second. Oh God.
Thank you for joining us. If you want the rest of this panel, please subscribe to our Patreon.
Go ahead and
Here's your
purchase
$300
the
download.
DLC on the PlayStation Store, and then you can go ahead.
So we love you guys, and if as any of you may or may not know, if you've not been living under a rock for the past year, you know that the Wheel of Time is being adapted into a TV show. Yay! We're all super excited about this. We have had amazing casts. We have had amazing reveals. We've had our first teaser, which if you've not seen that, we know what the Wine Spring Inn looks like. And like, there's no competing with how excited we are over this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's super
The
fantastic.
Dragonsworn are freaking out.
It's
guys.
true. So the topic for tonight's discussion, though, is as a showrunner, we realize, well, as fans, we realize that the showrunners are not going to be able to create a word-for-word recreation of the books for the TV series. And as intelligent fans, we don't want them to. We want a new perspective, a new flavor, a new take. We want to see new bits of the story. Maybe some of Robert Jordan's notes woven in as Easter eggs, whatever. Not like any of us would know, Matt.
I'm trying.
But
I'm trying.
what we're
Just
here
have
to discuss
just like and
tonight-
subscribe and join my.
That's right. That's right.
what's this Patreon? I need to get me one of these. You know?
Yeah.
I don't have
Hello.
one. I
By the
don't
way,
have one.
guys, I think if you go over to the Dusty Wheel and you have watched every single episode, like I have, then you actually probably have all of Robert Jordan's notes in your head at this
A lot
point,
is true.
because he talks
So
about them a
tonight's
lot.
topic is
and for good reason, because
yes,
they're amazing.
Well, obviously. So for tonight's topic, what we'd like to discuss is we'd like to put ourselves in the land of make-believe and pretend that we were a showrunner. What is one thing we would like to add or remove from the TV series? Something that is in the books that probably we would change or remove or whatever the case may be. A topic in the books that we would change to translate onto the TV show. And that's what we're here to discuss tonight.
look at
And-
me. Look at me. I am the showrunner now.
I'm the showrunner now. That's right. And mostly I regret that our first panelist is Innkeeper Hatch
You regret.
because I know how controversial he can be.
Oh, wait till mine, boys.
There was an
Wait till
edit
mine.
to the doc. Let me move some stuff around. Oh,
Let party
We're going to
alone.
start with it anyway. We're just going to dive right into the deep end because that's what we do. When you show up day one at the Black Tower, there's none of this swimming in the shallow end. We throw you into the deep end and expect you to swing back out. So, Innkeeper Hatch, please kick this off, throw us into the deep end and see if we can sink or swim.
When you show up, you think the song Shallows is going to play, but really it's more like Drowning Pool. Let the bodies hit the floor. All right.
Hashtag deep.
You've some of you have probably heard of a variety of suggestions I've made about things that they could change. So I don't want to pick one of those easy ones, like, you know, getting rid of blowing the horn and we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. What I'm going to go for, we're going to go for, instead of taking something away.
No, we want something a little more controversial than that, because that's easy. No one could argue with such a thing like that.
It's just going to cut Rand from the whole show.
Taking Loyal, Loyal literally ticked people off, but taking the horn out, that was a whole new level of anger. So I'm going to suggest adding something here.
All right.
What I would like to do that Robert Jordan, he doesn't give us this, and probably on purpose, you know, from this point of view, you know, way that he wrote the books. We never really get over the Shanchan continent, and we never really get some of those politics. We never get to see them as a people. And we also don't see things like the Isle of Madmen. There's things that he describes. He talks about these things. You know, we might get an event or two that happen over there. You might get a Forsaken that goes and visits, you know, for example, in a dream like Lanfear does. But you don't see it. And I think this gives them an opportunity, because Robert Jordan describes it enough, gives them an opportunity to kind of play in a garden where that hasn't been so tightly kind of you know, written about and designed by Robert Jordan. So I would love for them, because I think by showing us some of these places in more detail than we get them, it does lend to this idea of a very significantly large world, and it raises the stakes about what's happening more so than when you just hear about it. I mean, I understand the whole concept of like, yeah, but maybe there's this danger and you don't know how dangerous it is. It's like the unknown. I get that aspect, but I prefer in a television series like this to not have just so many unknowns. You know, so that is how I would want them. I would want them to go into these populations, even the Aiel, right? Take someone that we don't really see much of other than from Rand's point of view, or, you know, in a sweat tent, you know, get us out of the sweat tents and out of Roydian and actually show us some of these things that are going on at a larger level with these populaces. That's what I would suggest for the show, and I hope they do.
Nice.
All right.
Interesting. Well, Jenny, what do you think?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think that's a fascinating idea. Like, he's right. We don't get over to Shanchan or the Isle of Madmen. Is the Isle of Madmen actually mentioned in the books at all, or is that just like in the what did you call it, the
companion?
Yeah.
It's mentioned like once or twice, I think, by the
I think it's
Forsaken, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah. I think
maybe by Forsaken. Yeah. I'm honestly, Shanchan. It interests me. The Isle of Madmen fascinates me. Honestly, I find that such a fascinating idea. But it would be interesting to see these places that, you know, we hear about. Like Shanchan is after. Okay, we're full spoilers. That's right. Shanchan is in full chaos.
Yeah, we're good. You
like,
can.
Semirog just like trashed that continent, right? Like there's battles happening. There's, you know, it's in utter chaos now. Like that is fodder for a story. My only concern
go ahead.
is, I was going to say, sorry. My only concern is there's just so much story in the Wheel of Time. So as curious as much as I would love to see it, that's my only concern, because I think it's a really interesting idea otherwise.
But
there is a lot.
You could do it quickly, right? I don't mean that
Yeah.
have, you know, half an episode or anything over there, but I feel like you could do a minute or two call, you know, you could get out there, whether or not it's the wind passing over it and the wind stopping for a moment in some place and moving on.
Okay.
But I'm not talking about necessarily, you know, heavy plots. Although if there is a place where you could see some of that going on, it would be the Shanchan continent. I think that could be, because of how the book ends, I think that they do want to actually add more depth to the Shanchan. I mean, just consider everything that we know is going to go on with how they treat the demone, right? Just that aspect of the TV series itself, you're going to want to know more about these people and not turn them into kind of cardboard villains. And so I think that by going over to Shan-Chan a bit, they could add some complexity to how the story ends and how it proceeds. So anyway.
So sort of setting up for the end of the story, giving you some emotional investment in the end and how that plays out. I can see that. I want to say, were you done, Jenny? Did you get?
Oh, the other thing I was just, as Matt was talking, it made me realize, like, the other thing you could do with that is there's a lot of, because we're not in Shan-Chan, there's a lot of telling, like explaining about Shan-Chan. If we went over there, you could do a show instead of a tell, right? Like you're right, like in a very short scene, you could show something that doesn't need like a 3-paragraph explanation. It's just not that much, but you don't need a 3-paragraph explanation if you've just shown it.
Sure, and the magic of television is such that, it's a running joke, right? How verbose some of the descriptions are in the books.
5 pages on
that's
drugs.
not something that
I
is
straighten my dress.
That's not something that's unique to Robert Jordan. Like, I think Hugo Weaving, J.R.R. Tolkien, there's a lot of authors
Hugo
who
Weaving's
get
an actor.
That's what I was.
not Hugo
literally-
Weaving. Shoot, no, hold on.
I was confused for a moment.
Oh God.
Well, I
wasn't
was waiting
because I
until
don't know names.
I thought he was actually going to say something like Hugo Weaving said this about like Cloud Atlas or something, but then he was like just gave an additional author, and I was like, that's not.
We don't know what Hugo Weaving does.
Victor Hugo,
right?
Victor Hugo. Good grief.
Victor Hugo.
I got Hugo right.
You did. That was half of what you needed.
Blame the taint.
Versus South Carolina, they got Hugo as a hurricane very, very wrong.
Ooh, okay. Well,
Anyway,
Bringing it back to reality.
Bringing it back.
Now,
Anyway,
back
so
to
when
reality.
it comes to
there goes gravity. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Oh, sorry. My bad.
you've
brain
got
just did the same
sometimes.
thing.
you've got the magic of television, right? Which, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And a gifted producer and or director can create a scene and or a sense of feeling with a 30-second clip. So when it talks about the Isle of Madman, you can have a 30-second episode intro of the Isle of Madmen, crazy dudes running around destroying things. And I mean, I don't know. I see where you're coming from, Matt, and I think I like it, even though it's going to fly in the face of my TV show change that I will unveil later on. But I think I will say this. I think I can see, like I said, with the magic of television and how easy it is in some situations to portray a feeling and or setting, I think giving the Shan-Chan some depth would be valuable to the TV series.
Well, I mean,
No,
consider like a Man in the High Castle, and when you actually see, I don't know if you've all seen that show, but they go over to Nazi Germany, and it's all just kind of really creepy and disturbing and horrific all in one. And in the same way, the Shan-Chan, again, like I want to understand, it's not empathize with these people with the Shan-Chan. It's understand what their culture is like.
Yes.
And getting that same feeling, I think you might have. Like, there might be a creepiness and something horrific, but something that's normalized over there, right? Like they look at and how they handle their politics and how they handle their people and how they enslave channelers. They look at that as normal and it's accepted. And I think seeing that more so than just having them come over here as an army, right? Like as an invading army versus your normal Joes, and how does that work in their
right.
city? I
mean, that's something the military does a ton of. Like, when I was in potential deployments to places like Afghanistan, Iraq, and one or two other places that shall remain unnamed as to not cause potential international incidents. Not that I was super secret or anything, but that's one of the things that you have to do is they like push you through a culture class. Like, what's the culture like there? And, you know, it's things that like, a lot of the reasons that other countries that tried to invade Afghanistan, like Russia and all, failed so much is because they didn't care about the culture. You know, they thought about it organized much like their own. Like we think about the U.S. being organized in the states, and further into counties and stuff. There's no real, other than the Native Americans in the U.S., there's no tribal system. But you go to like Afghanistan, and it's completely different. Things are completely accepted. They have been for thousands and thousands of years. So when you have that opportunity to take and learn why people operate the way they do, it's fantastic because it gives you a better understanding of them. And by no means does it mean that you endorse what they do, how they behave, or anything like that. But also, you know, one of the age-old adages, I mean, this is something that Sun Tzu championed in the art of war. To best your enemy, you have to know your enemy. So, yes. I mean, in this case, Sean Chan, yeah, enemy, it's just anybody that you're trying to do deals with, you should get to understand them. So, yeah.
Yes, well, the last piece I want to bring here is I want to feel like they're inevitable, right? Because that's what Jordan paints them, right? Mm-hmm. Like we have the small advance force that's coming, right? Like, but no, they're bringing over all of their people, right? I want to see how big that populace is and know that they're planning on all coming over here, and how do I feel as a viewer? So yeah, the inevitable nature of the Shan-Chan, or are they inevitable? So
well, and
yeah, that
I especially love what you're bringing
inevitable,
up there,
inexorable,
we actually just
Thanos. On you harder,
than your haunting, gilding conscience.
I am Thanos. I crush rappers like Tesseracts in my palm.
Did you guys see that I put that as the outro for our episode on that?
I did.
Particular episode.
It was beautiful. An epic rap battles
but no,
history. If you guys want to collab. You know,
oh yeah.
When Wheel of Time
we will
becomes
get
big,
in there with some Rand, some Moradin, some Samael. We got you. We got.
Are you guys like
live
as excited about me? Like about all the like pop culture stuff that's going to come out of the show.
Yeah,
like
so excited,
so much.
I can't
My tattoos
wait.
will be acceptable.
I can't wait
Honestly,
to buy Wheel of Time brand grapes at the store.
Like no, and again, when it comes right down to it, the show itself, the books themselves, all of those are going to be, to a certain extent, incredible. Like, I'm not going to take away anything from that. I'm so excited to see people get into the book series that hadn't been in before. So excited to go ahead and see the show and have these, you know, people be brought into the, but like going to the store and getting 2 Rivers tobacco, going to the store and getting Tam L4 apple bread. Like, are you kidding me? I am so excited about all of that and people on the internet knowing what I'm talking about. It's going to be fantastic.
I have a pipe, a long stem pipe that from time to time I've been known to pull out. And it's the funnest thing in the world because I go to the local tobacco shop and I get old Tovey. It's or long bottom leaf or something from the Shire, and I cannot wait to get a good 2 Rivers tobacco.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Matt's point, we actually talked about this recently, I think in our last episode, possibly the one before that of our podcast, that
you act like I remember
Shan-Chan
things.
is supposed to be amazeballs. Like, again, if you are just a regular farmer, it's supposed to be incredible. Again, you can ride from the mountains of mist to the dragon wall without fear of someone stealing from you and whatnot. Because Shan-Chan is super safe and super awesome for the working man. Also, it's horrifying because what they do to you if you do fuck with that person who's riding from the mountains of mist to the dragon wall kind of thing is ridiculous. And so, like, again, there is this dichotomy of like amazing yet also incredibly tyrannical kind of like play that you're getting such a small piece of with the fore group, the scouts, the forerunners of the ever victorious army. And so you do actually get to see a little bit of that because they start bringing over people, and the people that they bring over are farmers who are just getting free land and things like that of places that they've conquered on Randland and whatnot. But it's also, you know, again, they are a villain for the story. And so there is sort of also like, no, we don't want to understand them. We want them to be evil, like make them evil and whatnot. And so I absolutely like the idea of the show versus tell, where I'd like to see more of the Shan-Chan continent being used visually to describe what they tell you about Shan-Chan on Randland. Yes. But I also don't necessarily want to see more because of the fact that there is a certain amount of empathy that you start to have for them. And while in the end they do sort of become allies in the last battle and whatnot, they are on so many levels evil two entities that we like the Aes Sedai and just channelers in general. And so again, there's sort of a happy medium there where I'd like
that
the show don't tell. Okay, cool, Josh. I like that, you know, show don't tell, but there's also this moment where, again, the best way to make a racist not racist is to have them understand the culture that they're racist about. And so I don't necessarily say that like being against the Shan-Chan is racist, and if you just understand them more, you'll like them. But like, again, I don't want that to be muddied. They are a villain in some ways.
But would it really be muddy? I mean, when I watched The Man in the High Castle, I'm never like, man, maybe the Nazis got it right. You know what I mean? Like, that never occurs to me. Like, because like what they do is what they're showing you is like, yeah, for a couple people, it's really nice.
Yes, but again, in The Man in the High Castle, who is the big bad? The answer is the Nazis. In the Wheel of Time, who is the big bad? It is not the Shan-Chan. It is the Dark One.
Okay. It's the shadow.
And so, like, again, they end up being allies, and what they are another villain. It's absolutely true that they are another villain. I don't want to take away from their, you know, sort of big badness, but they aren't the ultimate evil. They are a secondary evil.
They're a tertiary evil.
Sure.
Get on the Dark One's level, Shan-Chan.
Right? Exactly.
No,
but
don't.
Cool. So
don't.
Rob, what are your thoughts on this particular edition?
I mean, I liked it initially, but then I've heard the other people's thoughts. The way I was envisioning it before everyone started going was, you know, the beginning of each book is just, you know, the wind going through the land and that. The beginning of each season could be, so the first season could be through the, you know, the Randland. Season 2 could start in Shan-Chan. You see some of that now that you've met them and you've got some interactions going on with them. And then we could throw in the Aiel, the Sharons, the Isle of Madness, all those sorts of things. And that would be fun Easter eggs for fans and give you the visuals and a little bit of context for how they live in each place, but without spending a lot of time, you know, not wasting time, but spending time in locations that don't.
And I also like the idea.
Yeah, it's never wasting time.
I like the idea of the Easter eggs as well, because again, you could figure those out if you're just a show watcher.
Sure.
It just might take you longer because you don't have the full series under your belt until later. So I like that.
Yeah. That was, I mean, the other thought though is that's a little bit like Game of Thrones. So I'm also, there's about 20% of me that's like, don't do that. Because
but is it Game of Thrones again, or is it good cinema that was also used by Game of Thrones? Therefore, you do sort of risk a little bit people comparing you, but at the same time, just do the things that are good.
I mean, they're going to compare
regardless, because fuck them.
All right, so, Rob, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think I've.
So what do
So
we
brain
think?
blast.
Thoughts there.
I had a brain blast earlier.
Oh yeah, sorry.
They take
I did see the fingers.
yeah, they take the Sean Chan. They show you the Sean Chan, but you don't see anything about the Damane, the Suldam, nothing about that. They just show this incredibly safe, distant culture that everybody seems to be happy and well orchestrated in. And then bam, they hit you with the Damane to make you go, I love them, but I hate you. That's good TV.
They show you the Sean Chan on their own continent, and then Egwene gets a collar around her neck.
Like, oh, what?
And-
There must be a rogue
And
band
not
of Sean
in the
Chan.
good way.
What book did you read?
I have so many different. Like I feel like this could be like a show all about this question. So
He has Wheel of Time on one side
Okay,
and the
so-
BDSM Karma Sutra on the other hand. He's trying to read them both at the same time.
Let's give. I would say let's give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but Jenny doesn't have hands. So
And he can
What do you
smile or
guys
frown, I
think?
suppose.
yeah, smile,
wink,
Jenny.
wink twice. if you like
Jenny is a smile, is a thumbs up. Her frown is a thumbs down. So thumbs up if you think that Matt brings up a good point that the Sean Chan should have some more depth to them. Thumbs down if you're still not convinced.
That wasn't his point entirely. That all the areas we don't see.
I mean,
should have more.
what
We
we
should
just
be able to
discussed.
see more of them. We just focused on the Sean Chan because we know the most about them.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do you guys
You
think?
gotta give an answer, Rob. You and Josh. Give
Come on,
Caesar.
Daniel.
Come on,
Let's see that
Caesar.
smile.
Come
It
on.
looks
My
like-
smile is as big as it can get.
Oh,
all
looks like we
right.
got.
So
we
we
were
were
split down the middle.
right?
Nice.
So you know what that means?
My
All of you lovely folks on Twitter and in our associative
that's
discords
true.
and all, let
You
us
tell
know.
us what you think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
gotta
Do
know
you want to
who's
see
right,
more? Do
Who's
you want to
right
see more
and
Johnson of the other cultures? Cultures.
Who-
Baby.
Who is right and who is in Keeper Hatch?
Oh! Wow.
Jay!
Right.
Did it just get darker in here?
It's a little
And-
bit.
and- Suddenly, Innkeeper Hatch goes, and that's my hideout. Good night, guys.
I will point this out. RJ's notes on the Sean Chan are pretty extensive, so they would have material
Damn it.
essentially. So
So what you're
Oh
saying?
no
is
You
had
can't come
extra
after the vote with the Trump
information?
card like that. No.
Didn't have-
I agree with
Well,
you,
I don't know
but
if it's going to
still,
Twitter.
Not
Now
only
it's
that-
going to Twitter. I gotta.
I'm gonna need to see
you
visual
sandbagging
evidence of
Okay,
this.
so my response to that actually is legitimately as much as there are things in Game of Thrones that I kind of would like to see, I don't want any more spin-offs of them because they wrecked season 8 so hard. The Sean Chan after the last battle is honestly one of the things that I would vote for so hard as a spin-off series to the Wheel of Time. Just saying. So if there's extensive notes about them and what they may or may not be like after the last battle and other such accoutrements, I would love for them to just make a show about that.
it's got to be a
was-
sitcom
that
though,
was
like the
French.
Sean Chen and me.
So, just you know what? Just bring them to the Gathering Madness in October, and we'll go over them together.
Yeah.
So I would say that's actually, I think from what I've examined in those notes, most of that, if not, whatever, a large majority of it is in the Wheel of Time companion. So
There you go.
All
there's
right,
a lot
fair
of
enough.
that.
But
a
you
lot of
said
stuff is
most,
off the
not all.
When I say not all, it's because I can't say I don't know.
He
not
has
because
not sat down and done
he
a
can't
side-by-side
say
comparison.
He doesn't know. Those
Therefore.
are two statements, ladies and gentlemen.
But I would say, yeah, they took that file and I think they transcribed it into the Wheel of Time companion. So there's
Oh,
a lot
solid.
of known
I like it.
information about the Sean Chan people.
Cool.
That
All right.
Okay.
So next meme, but it's not a meme because the next to go is Jenny. So
Jenny.
what do you think? Take the reins,
Jenny.
showrunner.
Get us, Jen.
Don't do it.
Jenny.
No, don't do it. No.
Jenny,
Okay,
give us
so
your
Rand
opinion
is
on
gone.
what, Jenny.
This is the point where she ends the call.
No, Rand. No.
Triggered. I'm triggered.
Yes.
Ah.
All right. So, okay, mine is actually it's about the cleansing. So
Mm.
as written, you've got the cleansing. You have Rand and Nynaeve, they're linked, and Rand, they link through the Totem Call, and then Rand uses Sidar to create this like beautiful lattice, and then he siphons the taint off into Shadar Logoth.
Right.
Nynaeve is integral to this process, but she's entirely passive. And this is one of the first times that we see like a man and a woman working together to do like a great feat. We always hear that the greatest feats of the power were always done by men and women. And here we have one of the first ones done in this new age, but the woman she's just a conduit. Like that's all it is. And I would love if she was the one to create that lattice. There's a couple of reasons for this. When creating the magic system, Robert Jordan like decided to sort of lean into stereotypes of like the men are stronger in the power and women are more dexterous. And yet the women's dexterity, we never see them balance out. We never see them actually counterbalancing each other. There's a couple of things in the early books where like Lanfear is able to undo a weave or something that Rand has done, but Rand's also just a baby channeler at that point. So it's not necessarily her dexterity. It's just, she's had hundreds of years of experience and he's had like a month,
right?
You know? So
grainy Lanfear.
we never really, yeah. So we never see that counterbalance. So I would love to see Nynaeve have an active role in that. As it's written, quite honestly, it's literally a man using a woman's power. Like if you take it to what it is. And I would like to see, no, she uses her power, he uses his power. It's an active thing. And that was what created this wondrous feat of cleansing the taint. Women and men have to actively work together. I think that's a theme in the books, that women and men have to actively work together to do things. Now I'm seeing Matt nodding and I'm wondering if he's thinking what I'm thinking here is, I know this has to change something in the magic system, which says that when he's smiling because he was going to bring that up. When one man and one woman link, the man has to be in charge. I would just change that. I think that that's a weird limitation to put on probably the most common type of link that would happen between the genders, to make it so that, a woman has to choose to be in it, but once she's in it, the man has complete control. I think that's a very weird, I don't know why that's there. I really don't know why that's a limitation he put into the system. So I would just change it for the show and have this first feat of men and women working together be a thing where, no, they both had to work. She didn't just sit, it's written that it's amazing what she did, and it was, but I would like it to have been more active.
I gotta say, I think I agree, like wholeheartedly. I think I agree because as you said, the greatest feats were completed using Saidin and Sidar together in harmony, working together, and that's a common theme. In the Age of Legends, the greatest feats were used, blah, 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 blah. Cool. I get it. I see it. I love it.
Narrator.
And and I feel like you see
Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, and lightning, lest these titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clad.
Robert Jordan does a really great job of showing a world out of balance. And by that, I mean, Sidar is cool. We're good with Sidar. Everybody's cool with Aes Sedai. You can channel all you want if you're a woman. If you're a man, whoa. I mean, channeling is a very bad thing.
Gone,
for a very great reason. But once those things happen, when you nailed it with, and I've never really thought about it, is that the first time Saidin and Sidar work together in the books to do something amazing, it is to cleanse Saidin. And I gotta say, I agree. I want Nynaeve to have a more active role in that process. And yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot to unpack. So I'm gonna leave it simple and just say that I agree with you. I'm 100% behind you, that I hope that Nynaeve is more than just an amplifier to Saidin, and I hope she's able to contribute something. You know, maybe they write a scene where they're discussing how are we going to do this. Rand says, "Look, this is the Choden call. You can channel a lot, okay?" And she says, "Okay, what are we going to do?" And I hope he goes, "I don't know, but I know that Shadar Logoth, they like to attack the taint." And she goes, "Okay, what if we try this?" Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Yes, I agree. I
Andrew,
hope that she has a much more active role in
yes, sir.
this.
we will give you a chance, Matt. I promise we will give you a chance. But Andrew, what do you have to say about this?
Oh, so the initial statement is not going to sound positive, but I want you to hear me out.
I'm here to listen.
I'm going to disagree overall because of the implications it has for links, not just male-female links, but links amongst men, links amongst women, how they work. I agree with the sentiment 100%. So if it changed, what I would like to see is rather than them being linked, is that they're working in tandem separately, maybe linked with others. Because everything about the links and the way they work is you give control over to somebody that's in charge of the link. And the way the magic system works is if it's males linked with females, it does seem, that the men take charge of the link. Now, I'm perfectly fine with that changing and them being able to be like, hey, I don't really want to be in charge, so how about we vote this other person? And so you can transfer, regardless of gender, ownership of the link. But if you have two people linked, somebody has to guide what's happening with the power being used, and somebody is acting like a living Angreal. So I don't see it working where they both have to do two separate things while linked.
When two women are linked, you can see that they can pass the link back. They can pass the control back and forth between them. I can see that being part of it.
So I guess it could work if she had control of the link and created the lattice, and then he turned around and she tied it off, and he turned around and started. But with the magnitude, there's no guarantee that that's going to stand. If
that's
Nynaeva's going to have
a very response.
Yeah, if Nynaeva's going to have a more active role, I would rather see them with their own circles working together rather than hot swapping the control back and forth while they're doing it. I think it adds more complexity to something that doesn't need more complexity. I agree with the sentiment. I think she should have a more active role. I don't think she should just be there as a massive Angreal to help Rand. I like the idea, but I think they should work together cognitively, not just because they're hot swapping control of a link back and forth.
Okay.
So my response is actually a little bit the same but opposite, in terms of the fact that I actually would be totally fine with them changing the way the magic system works. I don't actually love the fact that, again, as you said, in the magic system, as Robert Jordan described it, if there is a man and a woman linked, or any number of men and any number of women linked, none of the women can have control. It is not a situation where you can just have a woman in the situation be in control. It must be one of the men. And presumably, I mean, again, you could make the argument that you might be able to pass control back and forth between the men in the circle. But it does seem like Robert Jordan is describing it as women come into the circle, men have control.
Oh, one second. I got two things real quick. One, I thought a man and another man could not link without the aid of a female.
Sorry.
Also, and again, we've already spoiled this, so I don't want to hear no comments. But when using Calendar,
you kind of have to read them. So
a female must be in control of the weaves, but there must also be a man involved.
Yeah. Okay, again, to be fair, yes.
Yeah, I was about to ask Matt, because
maybe that's the thing.
Go ahead.
Matt would. I'm expecting Matt to know the answer to this question, because there's different numbers, right? Like if there's two men and a woman, then I think the women have to be in charge. Like every time that you change the number, the gender of who has to be in charge changes. Am I right, Matt?
Yeah, I was actually, I wanted to know the exact rules because this isn't something I really care too much about, but I looked it up. It says in the wiki, in most circle formations, control can be passed to either a man or a woman, but some circles limit which gender must lead. If there are only the minimum number of men present, a woman must lead, with 3 exceptions. A man must lead if the circle has 72 members, if the circle has only 1 man or 1 woman, or if it is a circle fewer than 13 members with more than 1 man. Except for these combinations, a woman must lead when there is a minimum number of men. Outside these conditions, either gender may lead. So it does seem pretty specific in ways that I don't think you have to maintain that exact specificity.
Sure. No, and actually that sort of goes to what I was going to say here. In terms of the fact that, like, you can't have a woman in charge between just a man and a woman, I don't think that's a requirement that needs to be there. I actually like the magic system more as whoever goes ahead and is given control should be able to have control. There shouldn't be restrictions on who can and cannot. There just should be restrictions on who does and does not based on whatever circle it is that you're having. However, the other side of this that I think is actually really important is that cleansing Sidene. Now, any other thing that men and women do together in the Wheel of Time, I actually think is super unimportant for all of this. But in the cleansing of Sidene, taking that at all away from Rand in both learning how, doing it, and knowing what he needs to get together to do it is actually problematic for me for this story. Because again, I love Nynaeve. Please do not think that the reason that I'm saying this is because Nynaeve is a crap character or anything like that. Nynaeve is fantastic, especially by the point that you're talking about cleansing Sidene. I would love for Nynaeve to do even more than she does, but she already does so much.
We love you,
so
Nynaeve.
It is definitely a situation where in that moment, 2 things are happening. Number one, this is Nynaeve's first opportunity that she is linking with Sidene. And I think that's
a good point.
Important because in my reading of the book at that point, she is in awe of what's happening. And so her going ahead and being such an active part isn't necessarily a problem, but it does take down in some ways how in awe she is of just how Sidene works, because she's never felt it before.
Sure.
Right,
And then the other
the
part,
same thing goes for him. It's his first time.
That's true.
But he knew. But it's one of those things where, again, I'm not saying you're wrong. You're not wrong. It is his first time that he's actually linking with someone who's using Sidar. But it is also a situation where he planned all of this. He realized something was true, sat down and planned everything that was going on, and then made the conscious decision and sort of outline of what that was going to look like. And he needed Nynaeve there. He can't do it alone. But it's also Rand being so much the person who is writing that particular story that going ahead and making Nynaeve a more active part is not a problem, but it does take away from Rand's genius in that moment. And I think that is the moment where you need Rand's genius. Not because that's what the story sort of like needs of another man being a genius, but that Rand figured it out. That Rand sat there and got all of the information all the way back from the eye of the world, put it together, and came to that place knowing what it took, or at least so incredibly hoping that he was right.
That actually...
And so it really is sort of like, if Nynaeve is more than just a conduit, it starts to go ahead and really take a little bit away from what Rand figured out.
See,
especially given how much that they're standing there being like, I don't have time to tell you what we're doing. I don't have time to tell you what's up. I just need you. I just need the Choden Call keys. We need to go to Shadar Logoth. We need these like 12 other people with us. We need to start this immediately. And once we do, people are going to try to kill us.
Get in the
it
car,
doesn't
no time to
feel
explain.
Like there's exactly. It feels more like that.
Get in the car,
rather
loser. We're going to
than-
cleanse Sidene.
Hey, let's go ahead and
merge,
discuss this.
I want to merge
But
all.
anyway,
I will say, go ahead, Jenny.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, if you, because I don't think he just went to pick up Nynaeve and was like, just sit here, I'm gonna do something. They had meetings and stuff beforehand.
Yes,
If you
they
included
did not.
like,
They
well,
did.
no, because they had time. Yeah, it was not just like an immediate, I'm gonna travel
They
you
spoke.
to Shadow Logan. They spoke about it.
They had a whole. So
They
remember,
had
Daniel,
one meeting. They
Yes.
had one meeting.
and Rand explained what he wanted to do and
Correct.
how he wanted to do it.
And
Right.
Nynaeve stands there in the meeting, if I remember correctly, and tells him it's not going to work.
Right, but you could still, like, you could change this, or you could even, like, still, because it's still his idea. It's still
Sure.
his idea. It's still his plan. It's still him having figured it out. But the thing, like, it always struck me as odd. Like, this is something I didn't think of in my first read. Like, I have to tell you, this is maybe last
Sure.
maybe 10 years or something. But it always struck me as odd that it was Rand that did the lattice, because it's supposed to be women who are good at that. And it always seems
But he's the dragon
strange to me.
reborn, though.
I know he's a strange, but
No,
but
and again, I'm not
it's-
trying to like undermine you, but it is also
No.
a situation where Rand is so special on
He's got-
so many levels.
He's got an
I get it.
that never
unfair
hit
advantage.
me
yeah.
because Rand is so special on so many
Yes.
levels.
I want to try to merge these ideas because I
Yeah.
think I agree with you, Jenny, that I actually don't like the idea of using Nynaeve for being just a single conduit. I think that's a stupid concept. Actually having their relationship being built from early in the books, and to get to this moment and simply have Borden just be like, hey, just pick your friend and let's go over here and you sit here and we'll do this. I actually think it actually diminishes their relationship and not builds it. I would much rather see Rand actually engage with Nynaeve in this way and not change necessarily the metaphysics. I'm going to go with it. I actually think there is a really good reason to keep the man and woman, the male and female bond being one where the male leads. I think it actually helps the story along because they don't trust men, right? The whole concept of the taint existing, they're not going to go link with a single man. That would be insane. And that has always caused a conflict with what happens with the taint. And I think that's caused a divergence of this combination that you're bringing up here, which I think is a great one, which is why don't they do this? So having Nynaeve trusting Rand to do this, I think is important. However, I think you can do what you just suggested, which is this. You actually have Nynaeve understand what Rand is doing and then communicate with Rand while he's doing it and help him with the dexterity side, right? You can have her be conscious of what he's attempting to do. And then you can have her kind of push at him ideas of like, that's not quite what you need. You need to do this. And he does it, but she guides in a couple of moments. And so it's still his idea. It's his concept. He's going to do it. She's still part of the moment. He's still leading, but she is aware of it. I think I have to go back and read it. I can't remember, but I thought there is some kind of awareness of what's happening as part of that linking. And I think,
she is.
Yeah.
I think you can
she's
totally
very aware.
build in her pushing to him and guiding in some form or fashion. And that only makes sense in the Age of Legends that is why the best work was done, was that others understood what was happening. And there was this, not just melding of power, because that's stupid. It's like, oh, great, you have this link. Why don't you just make a Chodan call and then you can do all your surgery by yourself, and raise the dead without needing 72 people, like why even do that? If not that you're not going to also be able to take advantage of the fact that they have knowledge and capability, and that you're not only just getting access to their power, but you're getting access to that because they can take part in it while not necessarily leading it. So I think to me that actually makes that connection between Rand and Nynaeve and the additional trust that he places in her, and their relationship grows a lot, I think. And I think having that occur for her, I think, and her awareness of male channelers at that point, I think it builds on all of those ideas and actually starts to connect them in a way that I think would be really cool if they implemented what you're saying, which is not just making it a single conduit, but making it a participatory event with a leader engaged and leaving the metaphysics as they are. So
I like that too. That's a good, because also, like, at this point in the story, we've been introduced to Olivia. If Rand has complete control of the link, there's no reason for him to not use an even stronger channeler than Nynaeve, except for the fact that she is more skilled. So if you keep the magic system as it is, which I honestly don't think is necessary, but if you do it for the reasons that Matt said, I like that idea. and Nynaeve is incredibly skilled. So yeah.
And there's
So
also
I have
that
two
large
really
portion of
short
trust that makes
response to
Rand
that.
choose Nynaeve. A lot of the reason that Nynaeve is
Exactly.
chosen is
I
That
do
because
is
get
one
it.
of the biggest
Yes.
things.
Rand
Is that
trusts her.
Olivia is stronger than Nynaeve,
Yes.
but at the same time, there is that relationship, and I think Matt brought up a great point of just how much Rand is trusting Nynaeve here,
Yeah.
and Nynaeve is trusting Rand. And the other part that I would say is that you'd have to go ahead and skirt somewhat of a fine line, Matt, because one of the biggest problems that most people, I'm not including myself, have with Nynaeve is that she is somewhat of a bully. And when she comes in and tells you how to do something, most of the time it's because she's telling you, I know better than you. And I'm going to tell you how this works, rather than what it would really feel like would be necessary and helpful there is, hey, Rand, I love what you're doing. Have you tried it like this as well? And so again, there is like, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying I don't love that idea. It's just a little bit of like, it would have to be done very delicately, because if Nynaeve comes in there and bullies Rand into doing something, now it's not Rand's idea.
But
now it's Nynaeve being a little bit of a bitch about what Rand has figured out. And so again, I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just a little bit of a delicate thing there. And so I'm not saying that I think that would be wrong. It's just as long as they do it right situation.
I mean,
So-
Rand's not like roses at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I would say Nynaeve is actually a really nice person compared to Rand.
Not at
So-
let me go ahead and call Matt out for getting raped by Tylan kind of thing. And
Yeah,
that's
but
not
do
like
that.
that's not a
She
good
did- yeah.
thing.
She didn't do that.
So-
She
That's
did.
a whole thing.
She
She
did.
went to Thailand and told
So-
Thailand to back
so
off.
that's-
Nynaeve is the only one who did.
That's a side
Yes.
That is
point
correct.
that we
is
can
correct.
discuss.
But like again,
Rob, how do you feel about this apparently deceptively controversial topic?
I know, right? This is crazy.
That's why
So
we
I
do
missed
these
some of this.
panels.
why we do
That's
these
true.
panels. Wait, is Gawain the worst character?
Stop it,
Most
Daniel!
controversy.
Stop it! John isn't here, so we could probably be safe. But
Sorry, Rob, continue, please.
That's okay. So I mean, I genuinely had this discussion like last week with someone else.
What?
And I think I think it's a great
someone
idea that
who
Nynaeve should
has
be
read
more
The Wheel
involved.
of Time?
It was
Oh,
someone in the
oh,
fandom.
okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I was chatting in Discord. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
In fact, it came up. It came up whilst discussing my controversial idea that I shall reveal later. So anyway,
Okay, go.
and I think the point's great. I think that you should tweak the magic system so that, as opposed to when it's this many women, that many men, the women are in charge or the man's in charge or whatever. When it's 1-on-1, they share it, much as a man as two women would, sort of thing. And when you have larger circles, the lesser number of whichever sex there is. So if it's 2 women, 1 man, then the man's in charge, or 2 men, 1 woman. Woman, if I could use England properly.
Yes, please use England properly.
Yes, then the woman would be in charge, sort of thing. Or you could just.
You're not going to use the Kings. We don't want you on this show.
Okay. But their ability to weave intricately is mentioned. The female channelers, and it's not used, as you say. So I fully agree with this, and I think this is absolutely how it should go. I'm totally on the same page as you, Jen.
All right.
I'm
There you
down.
go.
My invisible
let's
thumbs are up.
Let's do the thumbs up, thumbs down. Should Nynaeve play a more active role in the cleansing of
Well,
Saidin?
so this should get 2 votes, I think.
Yes, because I was
This
going
one
to say,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the cleansing, should Nynaeve play a more active role in the cleansing of Saidin?
Yes.
Should
Remember,
the magic
Jenny's smile is
system,
yes.
Yes, indeed.
should the magic system be tweaked?
That's yeah, I think I have to be really specific about that one.
Yeah, like,
Tweak is fine.
I liked
Sorry,
Rob's
in
suggestion.
this specific
that-
way. I feel like
Yes.
we've gone over it enough that people
If-
know what we're talking
if
about.
one
If you're
man-
coming in at this moment and didn't listen to any of the discussion,
Please rewind
go-
and listen.
come
You're
back
not late to the
in.
party. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think it's one man and one woman. Yeah, that's right.
If one man
Sure.
and one woman, okay, so the second point would be that should the magic system be tweaked to allow for one man and one woman to share control of the circle?
I'm not as strong on it as I used to be because of Matt, but I still think so. But Matt has made me think it's
Damn
not
you,
as
Matt.
necessary
Whoa!
as I thought it was.
I want to point out the whole point of Robert Jordan tainting the one power was to create the dynamic that we see in the Third Age, and he wanted to write a
I
story.
love it. I
And so
love it.
Yeah.
The link between one and one adds a dimension of why that remained an issue moving into the Third Age. I mean, beyond just the taint itself.
Well,
because
It does. No,
And there's
you're
even-
not wrong.
I like that particular aspect.
When Andrel and Pavara link for the first time, late in the series, it's a big deal. Pavara, even though Sidene is already cleansed, Pavara has to she's not okay with it, and so I don't know. Yeah, that
I like
creates some
that
drama.
particular one. Not that we can't adjust the other part of that. Like how all the different rules. That particular one. I keep.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Well,
Fair.
Okay,
to
so
be fair,
you
that
know what?
actually
That
does
was
make
great.
total sense in terms of what Rob was just saying. If you're talking about whoever is the lesser one in the channeling controls it, but then what do you do for just literally a one-to-one? If you just make it men, that kind of makes sense in terms of there has to be, it has to be a sort of strong phrase, but there sort of does have to be a rule as far as who does or does not. And so I guess I can absolutely take Matt's point in terms of the fact that if there's an equal number, men just have the control.
why don't we just
And
treat
that
it like
does
the
absolutely make for many interesting situations in Age 3. If there's
True.
not an equal number, then it's just whoever is the lesser. I'm
Why-
down with that.
Why don't
there
we
you
just
go.
treat it like
Okay.
Super Saiyan God? Everybody gives their consent to the person they want to be in charge of the circle. That
Lend me your
person's
energy
hair
for the
turns
spirit bomb.
that person's hair turns red, and they can suddenly fight a god.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, why not?
The
I like
number
it.
of times we
So-
reference Dragon Ball in our
It happens.
podcast.
It happens.
It's honestly probably half as much as I and Josh have referenced Naruto. So
You're not
Accurate.
wrong. Yeah. And the number of times that I've referenced the Avengers
Kagebushi no
is very
Jutsu.
high.
So
Kaiju
here's
Kagebushi no
mine.
Jutsu, you fucking
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad.
Both of you are such.
So here's mine, and here's why earlier I said that I could tell that Matt and I were going to have a disagreement, because mine is not to give the Sean Chan some depth. Mine is to eliminate them entirely.
Whoa.
I don't even know you anymore.
Go away, Sean
Whoa.
Chan. No.
No,
Alright,
let the man speak.
Y'all have a good one.
Man,
It was nice
speak.
knowing you.
We gave you
I'll
your
be retiring
due.
from BTP.
Oh my god!
I did not expect that at all. Holy
Also-
shit, Josh.
Also, did not expect the controversial reception.
Let the
Maybe
man speak.
I'm
Just let him
more-
Makes it
finish his
controversy,
statement.
right?
Maybe
If
I'm
we
more
all want to
tainted than
murder
I
him at the
realized.
Gathering Madness, we can do so. But
Here's my thing.
let him,
Here's
let
my
him
thing.
make his case.
The Sean Chan, and maybe this is by design, but the Sean Chan prove to be one more distraction in the ever increasing list of distractions in the war against the shadow. You've got Karyanin and Ilianers and Terrans that hate each other, and you've got Ebudari and Domani that hate each other. You've already got a ridiculously big world of cultures that clash and have a very difficult time working together. Apart from Matt's marriage to the daughter of the Nine Moons, the Sean Chan offer no other significant points to the story other than to serve as yet another thorn in the foot of anyone trying to provide any sort of unification for Tarm and Gaiden. That is my TED Talk. Thank you.
Wrong.
So,
Wrong.
Andrew, you're the first one to go ahead and respond to this. And I think we already know your take, but go ahead and give it to us anyway.
I stand by what I said.
And that is admirable, even if it's incorrect.
As an Ashaman, I expect you to stand by the false claims you make. Oh boy, get rid of the Sean-chan. Like,
Get rid of the Sean-chan.
I mean it accomplishes our innkeeper's goal of not necessitating the blowing of the horn. So I think there's a conspiracy in here somewhere.
Wow, that's a good point.
That's
Matt-
quite the perspective.
Hey,
Not
Matt
what
and I-
I expected.
Matt's on board now.
If you could go ahead and give Josh his $20,
A surprise, but a welcome one to be sure.
I used to be
I
like a
feel-
directly no, but now I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe this
I
guy.
kind of feel like I just intercepted the
Yes!
Zimmerman telegram, you know? Holy shit. The treason in
Game
my own
changer.
ranks.
Game changer.
But no, like the
Okay,
Sean-chan, like
we'll do tomorrow's episode just you and me, Andrew.
yeah, you're Mexico in this situation. You're out of the alliance. We'll wait for NAFTA to come around later.
Oh, shit.
No, but
Just get the cartels.
I mean, there's so much because if you cut the
Go,
Sean-chan, you lose everything that happens in Falma. You lose the blowing of the horn, which nobody in their right mind could possibly ever think should be removed. Sorry, Matt. Everybody can have a dose of the madness.
Okay.
At least you make
I've
a
never
good
been right
argument.
now.
At least you make a good argument when you say it. At least you do that. So I just disagree.
Yeah.
But you lose that. You lose the Sean-chan attack on the White Tower. You lose the Sean-chan in the last battle. Otherwise, they become just like the Saharans that show up with Demandred and like, I've never heard of you before. Who are you? Where'd you come from? Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Know who you
Where did you come from,
Where
Sean
did you
Chan
come
Joe?
from, Sharon Joe?
Yeah, I mean, they're an
Every
important,
single one of us was on the same
I mean,
page. The
and
tower
then-
stands
yeah.
together.
and then you lose like
Apparently not.
what is probably the most pivotal, most eventful, most impactful part of Egwene's character development. I mean, it's what really shocks her into I'm not the best shit since Betty White, because Betty White was around before sliced bread. You know, you need that. If
Betty
you
White's
need,
still around in this world. She's
Yeah, yeah.
lasted all this time.
yeah,
While
she
a
is
lot of
literally
people
the oldest.
are, while a
She's-
lot of people
she's
are
made of
baking their
Quendiar.
own bread and therefore not getting sliced, so
She
she has
invented Quendiar.
outlived sliced bread.
Betty White is Quendiar. Hashtag Betty White is Quendiar. That's
White
something
invented
nobody can
Quendiar.
argue with.
Betty
Anyway,
White
sorry.
is who made
But I mean-
the first Quendiar.
To me, you lose too much of things that have a significant impact on the series. You lose a bit of the aspect of the not so fun after effects of the sex igloo. I mean, you get rid of them. Rand loses a whole spear to hold in a hand while he has it.
Spear.
I mean,
Spear.
That's not the main argument. The main argument, honestly, if I had to pick one main argument as to why I think it's a bad idea, it is what happens in Falma. You don't have this invading force that he has to counter. You don't have this pressure on Matt to blow the horn. You don't have this revelation that, hey, because they were found together in a pool of Sidene, it should be no surprise, but there's still people that are surprised that the Dragon Banner is a fucking Terangrial that overrides control for the Heroes of the Horn called back. You lose that, or you have to find it somewhere else, which I can't think of another situation that makes really that much sense to have it done at. I mean, you just lose too much. And what do you gain? More female channelers forced into slavery. Like it that you don't even hear about. You don't even know about it. I mean, it's like the world pre-World War II, pre-acknowledgement of the Holocaust. I mean, that's an extreme example, but it's like, oh, this stuff isn't going on. It's just a hard no for me. Hard pass.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in here and agree with with Andrew. I like your thought in terms of the fact that, like, again, the Shan-Chan are horrible in so many ways. And we've talked about on the podcast so many times about the fact that what they bring to the table and what they take away from it are arguably equal. But at the same time, I think that they are integral to people's stories. Egwene is not as strong of a channeler if she doesn't get captured. Egwene is not the true Amerlin seat of the tower if she doesn't get the novices on her side in the tower. You know, there are so many different pieces. The Avienda cannot make the case nearly as strongly how much the Aiel and the Shan-Chan need to be part of the Dragon's Peace if the Shan-Chan don't exist. And so
Aiel, fine. Shan-Chan, not fine.
But
Egwene
again,
learns to get the
but again, you
onto
still
her side
take
from the Aiel, not from the Shan-Chan.
But she doesn't need to do it as much unless the Shan-Chan are attacking the tower.
I could have sworn
again,
she said something like, if the attackers capture you, they will throw you in a collar that will control every aspect of your life until the end
But
of your
there
lifetime.
is plenty of other politics. I'm gonna leave it there. You go.
But again, I feel like not having them takes away so many people's different character development that while I don't like them, I also don't like the Shadow. And like, again, on the other, like, there is no story without the Dark One. I don't need to like him while
Rand
also
learns that lesson while facing the Dark One.
deserving of a place in the story. And so I feel very similar about the Shan-Chan. I don't like them. They are one of the worst culturally kind of people that exist in the Wheel of Time, but that doesn't mean that they're not necessary. It just means that they're hateful. And those are two different things.
Rob, as my best friend on this panel, please tell Andrew and Daniel why they're wrong.
Apparently, we have just left a safe space.
I'm like, whoa. I mean, okay, right.
This is the
I'm
true
not
division
gonna
in the
make you
Black
choose
Tower.
between the three of us.
I can't
I'm
choose
not gonna
between
make you
the three of
through.
you. Plus,
I'm
Jenny's
not
my
gonna make you
favorite,
choose.
so, you know.
Wow, thanks a lot.
She said
I
nice
did call
things
him
about
sexy
you at the
at the
beginning.
of the show.
I totally
There we
get
go.
it.
See?
Matt's over there
and,
like whiting
Matt-
out plans for the Dusty Wheel. Like, oh, he's not going to be able to make it.
No.
Hey, Matt.
Jen-
Matt, can I take Rob's spot in the table read because he's now out?
You do have the Rand hair going on there.
There you go. See, boom.
And
well,
I
if
can
just-
shave this. I can shave this
I mean-
all until
All
book
right.
4.
I
Well, go
feel
ahead,
like
Rob.
I'm
5 or
reduced
6,
to Tater
whatever
or
it
something,
is.
you know?
Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, wow. I don't think you can lose the Shan-Chan, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Eat it, Josh. Eat it.
Like,
Even your best friend.
Josh, you're awesome, but I don't think you can lose them. I'm sorry. It's just they play too much of an integral part. I mean, the last battle, attack on the White Tower, yeah, just there's too much. I'm sorry. I know it's upsetting you, but
Hey, Rob.
plus they make they're great material for Tam jokes, so I don't want them gone for that respect as well.
Oh,
So
okay,
just
so
FYI,
it's
Rob,
personal.
tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we're going to be recording our next episode of the Black Tower podcast. And since Josh isn't going to be part of it, do you want to join?
I am down for that. I am currently off work. I'm currently off work for annoying worldwide medical reasons, and I am absolutely down to fill in for Josh if you.
There you go.
Yeah, if you need it.
Sweet.
Just
All
bring
right,
him
well,
weapons.
Since Rob
All
is
right, Matt.
wonderfully succinct, Matt, go ahead and give it to us. Tell us just why Josh is so wrong and could
Crazy.
not be any more wrong.
Remember I said how significant that file was that Robert Jordan had in the Shan-Chan? I mean, he clearly thought they were important. But maybe Josh knows better than Robert Jordan.
Fighting words.
The shade
Even
is coming
a
everywhere.
sensu bean isn't going to heal that burn.
No, you got to have him.
Guys, it was great talking to you. I'll talk to you
I
later.
can see Matt now. I've got
I
5
gotta
gigs
go
to
to the
say you're
burn
wrong.
ward.
5 gigs.
No, I mean, in the end, the Shanchan are actually an interesting villain. I would take them over the Shido any day. So, like, I feel like there's other. If we were going to start dropping, antagonists or other cultures, I would, yeah, exactly. I would
Don't
probably
let
drop
Coolidin hear you say that.
I won't.
Before I drop
He's
the Shanchan.
He
He's
can't.
not
He
real.
died. He lost his head.
No, but I, for all the reasons that have been stated, I think the Egwene piece was pretty significant, and just actually driving other nations to basically put away their conflicts. I think you need a larger antagonist than just the Dark One, and they make for a nice place for the Forsaken to set up.
So much until like book 9. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, there's so much. There's so many good reasons. I think everyone's mentioned most of them. So yeah, I sorry. Not gonna.
Ooh. All right, your last hope for redemption, Jenny. Do you agree or disagree?
Jenny,
state your business.
Pretty sure my face gave it away, but Josh, no. No. And the thing is, it's weird. I want them in for the very reasons you want them out. They're a distraction. Like, literally, it's more realistic. He has a goal to fight the Dark One, and these stupid Shanchan just keep coming in from the side. Like,
well,
I like it's very realistic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jenny and I just became best friends.
Hey, buddy.
Because honestly, that is one of my biggest things on the podcast, like in general. If it makes it more realistic, I want it in the show. If it doesn't make it more realistic, I could take it or leave it. But if it makes it more realistic, it's in the show.
Okay.
And so the Shanchan, more realistic, therefore must be there.
Okay,
just saying.
Wait, let's vote. We should vote.
Give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Thumbs up that the Shanchan should be removed. Thumbs down or frown that the Shanchan should stay. I am overwhelmingly...
A frown with a shaken head.
I thought
it's over.
I thought he was going to say like...
It is over. That is 2 thumbs way down.
Who's next? Who's next? I gotta recover.
Let's go with Rob. Let's let Rob go next. That way we get our guest covered. So, because I know we got some people here very shortly that might need to,
I feel bad.
pull a Queen Morgaze and like dip out.
Okay, Rob.
Quietly.
Hurry up then, Rob.
Rob.
Morgaze out of here.
Mine's definitely controversial. I tested out on people, and one person left the room when I talked to them about it. So
wow,
yeah.
No, so this is exactly how it's gonna happen. You're gonna say it, and then Matt's gonna leave.
That's exactly how it's gonna happen. Just say it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad there's someone. I feel like that meme right now. Sorry, I feel like that meme right now. I'm the stupidest man alive. Rob presents his opinion. Clearly, you hold this crown.
So it probably starts quite good. I'm a fan of the slog. I don't see it as a slog, but I think we need to rewrite that section. So we scrap Fael being kidnapped, and instead, after the cleansing, Demon Dread sneaks in somehow and kidnaps Nynaeve. Okay, because I think that the turning is not taken seriously. It's not a big risk to the main cast. It's only used on the Black Tower towards the end. And I think Demon Dread kidnaps Nynaeve and she gets turned to the shadow. Now, hear me out before you all lose your minds. Okay? He runs off
that happened years ago.
Yeah, the taint, obviously. He runs off with her to Aradaman, I think.
There's something in the wine.
Yeah, there we go. And basically, he's using her not only as like a mental weapon against the good guys, but also keeps the other Forsaken off guard, sort of thing, mainly Mogadine. And Randon's like, right, okay, I feel really bad. She's just helped me cleanse the taint. And, lands there like, you got to save my girl. Like, you can't leave her like this. It's not right. So he runs off to Perrin and says, you got to help me get Nynaeve back. Okay. Quells Massima a little bit. He's like, yeah, okay, we'll use gateways to get and go, save your friend, whatever sort of thing. And he's seeing that as an opportunity. I can kill myself and Forsaken and an Aes Sedai at the same time. you know, sort of thing. And basically, they capture Nynaeve with an eye down. All right. Demon Dread gets his ass whooped. And then he's like, oh, I need a better channelers or something like that. He then sneaks off. And that's your setup for the Sharans being involved, because he then disappears like, I need better channelers than this. Okay. And Flynn, who's an expert healer, figures out how to heal turning. So that you don't
sir,
at the end of at the end of it all, you don't lose.
Wait,
yeah, I've been working on this a little while.
you sir,
Did you just rewrite books 9 through 14
in one book?
Basically,
All right,
You,
Matt.
sir-
It's Matt's go, man.
okay.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
We got to
Okay,
hear what the
so-
trustworthy innkeeper has to say.
Before I have to leave you all, sadly, I will say this: you had me at. We can't have every single one of the good guys just kind of like make it to the end. There's some. I like the aspect of them tweaking something about some of the main party. You know, maybe it's 90s,
Yeah.
maybe it's Wayne, whoever it is. And even in Robert Jordan's notes, he had some kind of interesting ideas of his own that he decided not to use, but did involve Nynaeve and the Shadow a bit. So I kind of liked that aspect that you brought in, but I feel like you then ruined it by saying then somebody finds out turning and how to heal it. No, like screw that. Like if you're gonna go down the road of like we're gonna actually have something bad happen to one of these main characters, just you gotta dig in, man. Don't
Okay.
ruin the idea by like just say no. Like that's
I get that. My logic behind that was, you know, how does Lan go off to the Borderlands and start Tarman's Gap, all that sort of thing?
It's over. Like that's what it means. They would have to significantly change one of those things that maybe fans really love. But the fact is that I hate when books wait until the very end to basically collect the cost, you know,
Right.
of everything that's been happening. I'd rather see it happen in the midst of at times. And so my last thing before I let you go would be, I'm kind of on the edge here. If I need to make a final vote, like if you tell me like, oh, I wouldn't, there's 5 of you, so that hopefully, no, I guess, does Rob get does his vote count? I guess it does.
Of course it does.
I will walk out and you guys will be able to make this, you'll be able to make this vote without me.
I've got half a vote, have I?
Your idea. I'm in favor of,
Okay.
I'm in favor of the idea of actually having one of the main characters pay a significant cost. And not that you can't say, you know, Matt loses, you know, an eye or whatever. But even then, you know,
It's
he
not the
gains a
same,
lot.
is it?
Like his eye.
Rand loses
We ain't
a
got
hand.
no
I feel
tolls.
like-
We ain't got no rolls.
Yeah, I think you need a
Except
bigger
that Rand
cost
doesn't
not-
even lose a hand because he gets it back later.
Well, true. But I wouldn't mind then seeing some cost like that. And with that being said, fantastic ideas. Lovely evening with you all. And I apologize that I have to leave now.
Oh no, you're
but-
fine. But
Do
before
not
you leave,
apologize. Thank
Real
you
quick,
so much.
yes.
we need
Yes.
your plugs.
Plug
Where-
yourself.
People that want to
Yes,
hear
go on.
more of Innkeeper Match's anti-homeblower propaganda, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube. Just type in The Dusty and you'll find The Dusty Wheel. We own The Dusty as a search so yeah.
Nice.
The Dusty Wheel, if you find us on YouTube, you can find us every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and some Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We do a
A
live.
surprisingly large number of Sundays.
Yes, lately. We do a 60 to 90 minute show. It involves live callers throughout. We do stuff like this. We do deep dives into specific characters. We do live
He also loves to stir the pot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I do enjoy that aspect. So yeah, just
There
go-
is also an episode, whatever the episode they're on, minus like 10, the Black Tower may or may not have been on. So check that out.
And he's
Also,
also,
But
he's
there
also
was
one
no
of my
badger on the
many.
green. It was very tame, boys. Come on.
also
Oh, it
there's
was super
there's a fourth age Aiel conversation coming up.
There is. You would, and by the time maybe they hear this, they might miss that. But they can find us that Wednesday when they do hear this episode. We're doing a deep dive into Madeline Madden's work and whether or not she is, where she might have strengths and weaknesses in trying to embody Egwene. And then after that, the following week, we're doing RJ's notes, fan questions. So if you have a question, you're hearing this right now, and you're like, I want to know if this is in Robert Jordan's notes. Find us on social media. Look us up with the Dusty Wheel.
Prepare
Basically,
now.
Social media. And yeah, send us your question. and we'll-
Do it.
Yeah.
So-
And Matt is also one of the few men is not a lamp allies that I have.
You're welcome.
So
Yeah, right.
regardless of whatever else happens, we can always bond over our appreciation of MIN.
Innkeeper
Please go
Hatch,
ahead.
thank you so much for joining
Indeed.
us. We
Yes.
know you have to run. We are so grateful for your time. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you at the Gathering Madness in October. And you, sir, have a fantastic evening, and we will continue debating as you.
Yeah, look on the bright side. The rest of this will be a surprise and like you've never seen it before because
Exactly.
you wouldn't have.
And as we say here at the Dusty Wheel, smash.
Oh,
All I heard was
Smash the flag.
smash. All I heard was
Well
smash.
done. Well
I like
played,
it.
sir. Well played indeed.
All I
I was
heard
been
was
smashed by a man before. I was pretty.
He's consistent.
all I heard was Matt and smash gone.
You know
Words
what?
to live
It's
by.
okay.
Smash to black.
Jenny, it's not that good. So it's
Yeah.
fine that you've never been smashed by a man before, because
We're not that good, honestly. Like it's
Legit.
overrated,
I mean,
honestly.
Whoa.
I can't speak for anybody else, but I've never been smashed by a man either. So
correct.
You know, I can't
Again,
comment.
same. I never went to college, so I never gave the old
that-
college
I
title.
didn't
Whoa,
realize
whoa!
that-
I went to college, but that never happened.
I didn't realize that was going to be a
Sure,
segment of the
Andrew.
show. So
Sure.
I would like to not comment.
Might have
But
blacked
I
out
love
a time
you
or two.
guys.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what the subject was because now I'm distracted.
So the subject
Let me
was
recap.
Roz,
No,
I
it's
believe.
too much.
Slog.
Let me succinct. Rob said a lot of things that were horrendous.
I love. I want to
to
just say right now, all I can see right now is Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya. Let me explain. No, that is too much.
too much.
Let me sum up.
That's
I'll be right
exactly
back.
what I was referencing, Josh. I'm so glad that you got it. So, Rob, actually, go ahead and give us a sort of super succinct version of what your take was, just so that we can get back on track. I feel like
Rewrite the slog.
So yeah, no
But-
slog basically. So failed, not captured by Shadow. Nynaeve captured by Demon Dread after cleansing. Turned. They run off, grab Perrin, and cause a battle and save her. She's healed, and that's Demon Dread set up to go get the Sharons involved, basically.
So go ahead and jump in, Josh.
I actually kind of like it because I don't like Fail. I don't.
Dude, if
She is
Rakappa Sedai was
so-
on this episode,
I know, right?
She would shit her
Recappa,
pants.
Recappa, you know I love you. Okay.
I said I watched that episode and I saw about we need to get the best one from each show in and be really controversial, and I'm like, what do I enjoy that's going to get Rakappa going? This was it,
Fail does like one thing that is important to the story. No, two things. And one of those, okay, she has two things that's important to the story. And one of those things is basically her not listening to anybody else. One of those things is killing Masima. And that's the part of her not listening to anybody else.
That can still happen after the battle.
Exactly. Masima can die at any time by anybody's hand. It doesn't have to be by Fail. The other thing that Fail does that is important. Shut up, it's my turn.
I made sounds. I
one
didn't say
thing
shit.
That she does that is important, in my opinion, that could also be done by literally any. Bulwer could do this. Handle supply lines to mask the transportation of the Horn of Valir.
In
Fail
fact,
does
that
not
actually
need
makes
there to
more
do that.
sense that it's Bulwer.
It's right.
It does. Yeah.
Exactly. Fail does not need to be kidnapped. Fail does not need to exist. However, she does. And that's okay.
Exist. All
You
right,
mean
that's-
Mandarb?
I'm not saying that's not more of a
Mandarb.
thing. I'm also not saying I disagree with it, but also that is
But-
a step up.
So the slog is essentially Fail Quest.
Failgate.
And I'm going to
Failed-
say
a
I
failed
agree. I'm going to agree with Chef Rob, even though he did not back me up on the Sean Chan point,
I mean,
But that's
when
okay,
You're wrong. You're wrong.
because I'm a better man.
No.
Whoa.
True friends are honest with each other. That's it, Josh. So
True
if I can't
friends
tell you
are
the
honest.
truth,
Yes.
there we go.
I
see,
like
hold up.
Malkier.
What I
Mike?
see now is Rob is over
Mike,
here trying to be
drop.
Obi-Wan, and Josh is over there being Anakin right now. You're either with me or
It's
you're
not
against me.
fair.
Only
I
a
don't
Sith deals in
understand.
absolutes.
Which is an
You know,
absolute
like the
itself.
Jedi did
I don't
regularly. Sorry,
I actually
Andrew.
don't like sand.
You have a response to Rob's take here.
Oh man,
I want to hear what it is. You with your I look at screens all day glasses.
Yes, that's what they are because my eyes, if you didn't notice by me rubbing them, were starting to bother me. And they still are, honestly. Oh fuck, this doesn't work as well as I thought. I like the idea overall. I think it's better entertained and experienced as a like kind of Marvel what if scenario because of how integral Nynaeve is. Now, to be fair, the point of time that you have chosen, if you had to put her somewhere else, would be the best time. But having her go ahead and be one of the original Mansfield 5, regardless of Josh's heart/heart pin, what is that?
Oh, what is that?
Oh,
is
I
that?
know what it is.
Tower pin.
That's a Black Tower podcast.
Okay, I wear these for a reason. My eyesight isn't as good as it used to be. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
All right.
But
Calm down, Jay-Z.
hey, that is not Jay-Z. What the fuck?
That was fucking Toby Maguire. Dickwad.
What?
Come on,
Toby
Come on.
Keith.
Keith.
It's what people.
All right, so I'm going to retract what I said,
You
and
know
I'm going
what?
to
You
agree
go.
with anything that goes against
You're just
Daniel and
kidding.
Josh at this moment. No. No, like I like the idea. I mean, because it creates that tension. I think it would work out very well cinematically while Josh just moans the name Keith. I think it could work out very well in the end. But I'm a big fan of what happens because Damondred is not there. He's busy with Sara. He's busy taking control. He's busy portraying himself as Bao the Wild, right? He's busy with all this other stuff. So when he shows up at the last battle, the entire world collectively, except for the Sarans, go, who the fuck is he? And they're like, he is a hero of legend. He will lead us to victory. And it's like, really? Because I'm pretty sure you're fighting with Trollocs and you should know fucking better. But we're going to ignore that plot hole. So,
Yeah.
But Sharans don't know what Trollocs are.
They should figure it out. I mean, no natural thing in any fantasy, even the ones they've written themselves, ever looks like that. Nobody ever looks good as like an eagle-headed wolf man.
Maybe Sharans are more woke.
Maybe.
You say
Maybe
that
they don't
and they
judge
make
based
their
on people's
Chandlers live in
appearance.
one fucking city and can only mate with themselves. I wouldn't consider the Sarans.
And only-
Okay, you know what,
only
Andrew?
only
I'm
7 years or
hearing a
something, isn't it?
lot of
Hey,
I'm hearing a lot of bigotry coming from
What?
maybe Sharans don't judge based on appearance, okay?
appearance. You know what? Channelers
So I got it. In
they can
Sahara,
appear like anybody
in
else
Sahara, any Trolloc is better than an Aes Sedai.
than a
Got it.
channeler.
Than
Exactly.
a Chandler. I got it. Okay.
I mean, also to be fair, in most of Randland, a Trolloc is better than a Channeler, as long as it's a Channeler with a dick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
You make a valid point that I can't counter. But
No,
that's not.
I
Luckily,
was-
that's not the point of the discussion.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like the idea. And I've said this like a couple times, and I hate bringing it up because I feel like I'm being like fucking hoity-toity about my degree. But as a political science major, I love thought experiments, things like the state of nature, things like that.
So
I love them. Shut up, Daniel.
So
Oh.
hoity-toity.
Hey, I'm a hoity. You're toity in October.
Oh!
But
Dude,
I like
you
the
know
idea.
I'm gonna win the The Rand sword competition.
That's only what everybody else sees.
I am
and
going to be
grades.
the Heron Blade.
Nobody will see what happens
Hey.
like before you even wake up. I'm gonna retract that statement.
I was about to say.
You're not going to get
Continue
picked up
on.
from the airport is what's
Continue
going to
on.
happen.
I got Uber. It's about as reliable
Anyway,
as
no,
a tape-laden Oshman. But I mean, I like it as a thought experiment. I think it could be cool to see as part of the main series of events. As much as I want to, I think it potentially changes too much about how the series is, because I'm one of those kind of people that is very much, I want books or I want TV series and movies to be as close to the books as possible. I think it's interesting. I like the idea, but as far as like an official series change, I'm going to have to disagree with it. As entertaining as it would be, I think it's a great idea, just not as part of the main series.
Yeah, no, Malkier
Okay.
Rob, I'm going to have to jump in here and agree and also disagree in terms of the fact that that's not how the story was written. And I honestly think that so much of this is the slog can be represented relatively easily by film. And,
Yes.
and that's actually one of the things where I don't want to, like, again, sort of come out as like political science major, but I am a film major, if you will, in terms of the fact that this is the world in which I live. And so the slog doesn't need to be a slog in the television show. It's a slog in the books.
This
But it doesn't
motherfucker.
need to be a slog in the television show. And so when it comes right down to it, you don't need to change anything about Winter's Heart. You don't need to change anything about the Fail segment of the show to make it interesting. And like I think that Fail is annoying as fuck. I'm gonna say it out loud. I think she's a terrible character. I think that she adds very little to sort of like Perrin's character development and whatnot. But in the end, I think that she is necessary for the thing that she does. Those things that she does are important. And you can really cut down a lot on Fail's kidnapping if you show don't tell. Because a lot of Winter's Heart is telling. A lot of Winter's Heart of the slog
And
is,
Knife of Dreams.
You're not wrong. But again,
and
a lot of
Crossroads of Twilight.
Okay, shut your stupid face. No, a lot of that, the slog is telling. And you can speed a lot of that up. And one of the things that I've always sort of talked to people who know the series about is that the slog is only a slog because it's written word.
Yes.
Who know the series
And I'm not
about.
saying that it doesn't need to be a slug at all in the TV show. There are going to be moments where you do sort of get the feeling that Perrin's not doing shit. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot shorter than the slug is for the books. And so I love the idea of somebody who's major. Somebody like Nynaeve, who's part of the OG Emmonsfield 5, getting turned to the shadow, and that then being sort of changed, and Demandred being going over to the Black Tower and starting to turn people, and that sort of being an instigator of him going and doing something that he actually does in the books. But at the same time, I really feel like in the television show, the slog isn't going to be the slog. So I don't feel it needs to be changed.
You could almost make
so like I love your idea, but also it's wrong.
You can almost make the case that Nynaeve learns to heal madness by being healed from turning.
Again, that's amazing.
Jenny,
and also
Jenny, wrap this up. Jenny, wrap this up.
Jenny, come on, validate
Please.
me now, Jenny. Come on.
Rob needs you.
Okay, so before I give my opinion, I am going to just give a heads up. I'm going to have to go out in 10 minutes. So
no worries.
So
So
you
give your
do-
opinion and then peace out.
Yes.
I
Okay.
want your opinion more than anything I've ever wanted in the world.
Wow. Well, let me just drag it out to like the anticipation.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Please do.
No, I really like the idea, as long as we don't go with Matt's thing of just leaving her evil. Because no, it's my girl. I love Nynaeve. I love Nynaeve.
That's what I
Yeah.
got. Everyone was saying, don't leave her. You know.
Don't leave it. But I like it for kind of the, like, okay, you say you want the books to be the books, Daniel, and I get that. But I like doing this change because for book viewers, it does the same. Like, how many of you guys have seen like Firefly and Serenity? I'm assuming it's a room full of nerds.
All of it, please.
Yeah. So
yeah,
my
of
daughter,
course.
you guys saw earlier, is named Inara.
Okay, so there you go. So like, the reason Wash died, as horrible as it was to make us realize nobody's safe, right? Like, you're watching the battle after that, and you were like, anybody could die. Like, it's not.
Feels.
Yeah, exactly. Tears and everything. But if you do this to Nynaeve, for us as the people who have read the books and are dedicated, it's like, oh, like it puts us on edge, right? Like it makes it so we can't coast while watching and being like, oh, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. It's going to be like, oh, wait, they could do anything. And it makes it more exciting. Now, I want them to bring her back because that's my girl, but it means that like when we get to the final battle, we're not all just sitting there. And again, we've all said spoilers. We're not all sitting there going, oh yeah, no, Egwene's gonna die, but everybody else is fine. Like, we don't think that.
Everyone's
right.
No one's okay.
Yeah, because they've done this weird change that just shocked us all. I like it as an idea.
Yeah.
This is why you're my favorite, Jen. There we go.
Okay, thumbs up.
Okay, real quick. So we're going to vote real quick on whether okay, we have to succinct this in some ways. Let's go with Fayoum not being captured and Nynaeve being turned.
Nynaeve,
Let's just do that part.
Nynaeve
being turned. Let's just do that part. Okay. So.
But there's
No, just that part.
Okay.
Cool. All right, now let's go ahead and do all of that, but Nynaeve gets turned back.
Wait, yes, that's the only way. Yes, as long as she gets turned back.
As long as she gets turned back. We need Nynaeve. Nynaeve is crucial.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, then before you go, we absolutely respect the shit out of hard outs. So Lezbi Nerdy, Jenny, let's go ahead and let the people know where they can find you.
Tell us
and
how
all of
amazing
those
you
wonderful
are.
things.
Where
Plug
can they
yourself.
come and be nerdy?
Yes, I should have put my name like Lezbi Nerdy on my screen, but I didn't. Anyway, yeah.
You didn't, but
Search
that's okay.
For Lezbi Nerdy. I'm totally gonna
With
spell
the
it out
Z.
for you. Exactly, because I have heard that if you search for me inaccurately, adult things happen. So you have to be very
Not on the
careful.
YouTube.
So
I feel like Colonel Mustard right now in the old movie Clue.
yeah.
Where he's like, oh yeah? What's the number?
Is that the right way? Is that backwards? You need
Yes,
the Z.
with the Z, with the Z. I'm Canadian,
Wait,
so I can
with
say
the
Z.
Zed.
Yes.
Zed.
It's Lezbi space nerdy, Nerdy. And
All
You don't
you
live in
Canucks out
Canada.
there.
yeah,
And
I'm
if you
from
search
Canada.
properly, you will be blessed.
Yes.
So I just
if you
want to
search
throw out there,
improperly, you will also be blessed, but just with lesbians.
Jenny, just real quick, where are you located now?
I'm in South Korea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, because earlier Malkier Talks, Rob went ahead and said that you were further away. And if you were
When
in
did I say?
Canada, that would not be correct. And
No,
I
it
would
would not be
offended.
correct.
That's
But
why
it's
the
almost
unofficial
never
name.
enough.
I
He
got
why
is
the-
correct. And hand to God, Rob, I apologize for any question of anything you said tonight.
so I got
That's why the unofficial name for this episode was the International Panel.
Mm.
No, it's
It's
true.
true.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, as a person who was once a Korean linguist.
Yes.
Now, don't ask me to speak any of it because I don't remember any of it.
I'm disappointed. I was fully expecting some Korean right now.
I literally was like, oh, that's
offended.
Hold
Highly.
up.
Mm.
한국 말했습니까?
조금요. 한국어 할 수 있어요? 네.
좋아요.
네.
Was ist das auf
감사합니다.
Deutsch?
잘했어.
네. 고마워요.
Was ist
고마워요.
das auf Deutsch?
Was ist das auf Deutsch? Yeah, what is that in
No,
German?
no.
I don't
This
know.
is Korean moment.
네, 네,
Okay.
네.
Wie geht's für Korean?
지금 한국어 말해야.
Ah,
네. Sorry. Okay. No,
I
once
love
I get started,
both
I
of
can't.
you. You guys are fantastic.
I've
No,
got to be
but
honest, that-
honestly,
that,
Jenny-
was pretty cool, but it's. I had no idea what was said.
Literally, we were just talking about speaking Korean, and then we
Basically,
said a
that was
dirty
it.
joke about Andrew's beard. But other than that,
There we go.
The
This is one of
only
your
thing that's
favorite
acceptable.
Jen.
Quite clean.
Oh,
Jenny, thank you so much for joining us. We super appreciate your time. We really do. We're grateful to you for joining us tonight on this panel. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening and do your thing. And
I will.
really, guys, everyone listening, go look her up. She's got
Oh,
some fantastic content. It's amazing.
Yep.
It really
thanks
is.
so
Really
much. I
good.
appreciate that. All right.
Have a
bye,
fantastic
guys.
evening.
I'm gonna peace out or smash to black, I guess.
Smash to black. Do it.
black. There you go.
Smash to
Do it.
black.
Listen, guys, if we bring somebody
Okay,
on this show,
so
you can
Well,
guarantee
I
that their stuff is
think
amazing.
That actually does.
And
No,
then
it's
there
true.
were 4.
You are not wrong. But I think that does actually bring
I
us
was
to
about
the
to say,
end of
I
this
think that's it.
particular YouTuber panel.
I think
Um,
everybody's expressed their piece.
Oh, is it
Daniel,
over already? Oh,
unless
man, that was so
Daniel,
good.
unless
Like,
you want to take and we want to take the spare time and give
we do have some spare
Matt.
time.
Matt already won't hear what transpired with Rob, but Lezbi Nerdy, Jenny, she also won't hear what transpires if we have opinion. And if we
That's
want to
True.
take the
We
time,
could go
since we
ahead and
have
do ours
Rob,
quickly. I
that's
think you are actually first in the lineup. So if
technically you
have
are, but-
technically.
but mine's very
Okay,
short and
cool.
very
So
easy.
my then go for it. I want to hear what
Okay.
Andrew has to say.
Oh.
Every Wednesday, I like to hear what Andrew has to say.
I mean,
and
to
this
be honest,
particular Tuesday, I also want to hear what Andrew.
all I heard there was Andrew is easy. So you know,
Wow.
I'm down. I'm down for listening. You know,
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I will also say he might be offended.
It has
I'm a
been
little
many a
tainted
moon,
right now,
so it's
so,
not that hard.
You know,
Same.
Saying this is like cup 4.
you're in
five-ish?
good company if that's the case. So don't panic. You know,
Yeah,
I've drunk another quarter of this bottle already.
that's
so
that's
you know.
Is
it.
that Bacardi? What?
Yeah, I've
I'm
taken it slow
sorry.
'cause
I'm
I thought this
sorry. You remember how I showed you that this was full at the beginning?
Is this
This
where I
is
quote the podcast?
fun,
You know,
man.
I'm doing a full listen of the podcast. I'm on episode like 73, and I'm up to episodes that are about 2.5 hours long, and that's after they've been edited. So, you know, I expected this to go on till daylight. It's only 4 a.m. for me.
You know, Malkier Rob, I knew we were going to be friends. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Despite your wanting
All
to
right.
take the sanctity of Nynaeve, we're still friends.
Andrew, go ahead. If not, I do have
Yeah.
an opinion. That
Mine's
I would be
mine's very
happy to
simple.
dig.
Mine's very simple, very short, very straightforward. It doesn't waste time. Comes around quickly. It is. I think that we should change the nature of Egwene and Galwin's relationship, and put Galwin in the friend zone at best. That's pretty much it. Make him the
Oh boy.
the straight male best friend or whatever he winds up being. Make him one of the best friends that does what he does because he's wanting to do it for a good friend. I do not think that anything about Galwin and Egwene's intimate or romantic relationship brings anything to the series. I don't even see supporting evidence from what I've read in the series that even supports them even being romantically interested. I think it's something that if you were to look at the series as what is black and white and you feel that Moraine and Tom is rushed, I feel that Egwene and Galwin from that perspective would be just sprung out of somebody's tainty bunghole. There's no reason for it other than the two of them being idiots. which to me is the only reason that they're ever even together, is they're both fucking love-struck, true love idiots, and Egwene has a proclivity for rods that shoot out anti-balefire or whatever have you. So I think they'd be better as a friendship rather than a relationship. I think that's more believable than any kind of I left the guy I thought I was going to be with forever, and you're the next handsome guy I met. So let's do this thing.
My okay.
All right, hold on, Josh. I have first rung. It's me, Rob, you.
Do it.
So I am going to say that while I don't disagree, because, like, again, I defend Gawain as the worst character in Watt, but at the same time, like, he's also a pretty shit character. Like, again, both of those are true. I will also throw out there that I actually think that, as we talked about earlier, realism is one of the things that I focus on in the story. And I actually think that who you love is not something that you can choose is a huge part of realism. And so I really like the fact that Egwene is a strong female character who also loves a complete moron. And so I don't agree with taking Gawain out as romantic interest, because I think that she loves who she loves, and that is not a problem.
Oh, don't
and
paint me as
therefore-
anti-love here, sir.
Whoa, sorry.
Let's
I'm
not.
Andrew,
not
you're
hating you as
definitely
anti-love. I'm
You're
just saying
definitely anti-love.
I'm not.
I mean, love
I'm just
is a
saying
waste
as-
of time and breath. You know,
Agreed.
other than you there,
Whoa,
Josh, you got a lovely
whoa,
family,
whoa, different
no, I kid.
discussion.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Rob, go.
Uh,
Rob, go.
No, I think that
no,
Gawain
Dan, you
actually
finish, Dan,
makes Egwene's story more realistic. That she is an incredibly strong woman. That she is incredibly intelligent and ambitious and wonderful, and she ends up making some amazing decisions. And also, she's an idiot.
Yeah.
That she
so
loves
that brings-
Gawain, who is one of the dumbest people in the series. But I think that's realistic. I love the fact that exists.
So that
And
brings
so I
my
would be
question
sad
there.
to see it go.
That brings my question there is, what about Egwene and Gawain's interactions that we see that we can infer reasonably leads to them being in a relationship? Because from what I remember, she gets drawn into a feverish, nigh tantamount to sex dream of Gawain's about her. And that's the most intimacy we see until he finally puts a fucking ring on it and saves us all from the rest of his bullshit.
See. Okay, but
well-
except that there is an entire portion of the book that is not written down, which is the time that she is in the tower where Gawain is being trained as a warder. And I think that there is a huge amount of stuff that exists there, even though it is not written word. And again, if we're going to argue that the Moraine and Tom relationship makes sense, and that the Min is not a lamp relationship makes sense, you can't just gloss over the fact that Egwene has a long time with both Galad and Gawain in the tower that is not strictly written down. And so again, I love you, I agree, but also you can't just infer what's on the page. You have to infer more than that.
Go, Rob.
Yeah. Okay. So I disagree with both of you in certain parts. So
I
don't think there's. I don't think at the beginning you're saying when they're both training in the tower. I don't think there's much going on there. But I think, Andrew, you've missed a lot of when Egwene is training as an Aiel and she's meeting Gawain in the city every day, and they're spending time at that, whatever the inn's name was that I can't remember right now, and they're smooching and yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, a little creepish in some respects, but there's a lot of time where they're just spending time one-on-one, and there's a lot of kissing going on, and, you know, there's different levels of intimacy
Stop,
for
Josh.
different people.
Stop.
So when you know, some people, you know, absolutely find kissing to be very intimate and very sweet and very, you know, bond forming and things of that nature. So who's to say that Egwene and Gawain sitting there spending weeks potentially, because the Aes Sedai were there waiting for Rand to kidnap him for weeks, you know, not a couple of days. Who's to say that them spending time making out every day in a special room of the inn, or, you know, the special private dining room, whatever it may have been, wasn't very, you know, a way for them to form a very close bond?
Well,
I totally
and
agree
also,
that later
again,
on, he's a fucking idiot of not saying like,
Hold on,
oh, I
man.
want this, or no, I want that. No, I want this, I want that. You know, like, fucking pick something, dude. But I do think there's a bond, and I do think they, you know, become close through that particular moment in the books, despite the fact it feels very quick in the books. Is actually over a few weeks at the very least, if not a little longer.
I will say that based off of what you said, given my interpretation of their relationship is very early to mid high school-esque, that's a fair point.
Sure. I mean, like, again, I want to just throw out there really quickly that Rob makes an incredibly good point, because all of
Makes
us,
an incredibly good honey cake as well.
Every single person who is
Accurate.
listening to this, who is in this, who is whatever, are we with our high school sweetheart? Probably not.
Oh, thank
But
God,
at the
no.
same time,
If you want to talk high school sweetheart, though,
But I didn't have to put on rings to get rid of her.
Rand was
But again, it is a
Egwene's high school
situation-
sweetheart.
sure. Again, Josh, I'm not telling
No,
you you're wrong.
they're preschool sweethearts. Come on.
But again, it's a
the
situation
fact
where how
being-
many people sort of that were high school sweethearts, you didn't just make out in that room. Like, again, that was a part of it. That was absolutely a part of it. There was an intimacy there. There
You
was
either
a
watch too much or not
physicality
enough
there.
anime.
Look,
But at the same time,
when it
there
comes
was
to-
conversation. There
when
was
it comes
so
to-
much more than just making out in that room. And so Rob makes a huge point there that I actually really want to latch onto. Yes, Robert Jordan starts with they made out in that room. Robert Jordan ends with they made out in that room. But at the same time, there was so much more that went on in there. And so if you just read it as they sat there for 45 minutes making out, I think you're missing the point.
Look,
I think you're
that's fair.
missing the additional what happened in there, because making out for 45 minutes isn't. I'm not saying it's not
It's like
possible.
fucking
I'm
exhausting.
absolutely not saying it's not likely, but that's exhausting as fuck. And so they
look,
probably didn't do that.
I need
when
to
it comes
breathe.
to
Oh yeah.
My tongue has no strength left.
if the point is that Egwene and Gawain were not good as a couple, I'm going to say that I disagree. And that is because Egwene and Gawain are two of the most narrow-sighted characters in the series. Now, Egwene is the most adaptive, and I think she gets a lot of flack for that. I think she gets a lot of guff because she's able to say, haha, yes, I came from a Mons Field, but now I'm an Aes Sedai. Oh, by the way, now I'm Amro and Seat. And to a certain degree, that's necessary when assuming roles of leadership. You have to kind of say, yes, this is where I came from. However, this is where I'm at now, bitch. And you need to fucking listen to me.
I'm listening, Josh. I'm sorry.
Gawain is, in my opinion, and I've expressed this previously, no different than Elaine. He is extremely entitled, extremely spoiled,
Andrew,
think he's
can
very
you kick
different.
Josh out?
and
Gawain
Gawain
Oh,
is
I have a retort here. I have a
someone
retort prepared. It's right on the top
who
of my
sees the
regions.
world as he thinks it should be, and that's it. He's like, I don't care who it is that tells me I don't trust them unless I see it with my own eyes, which can be an admirable.
Is this a Santa Claus like quote here? Seeing is believing, believing
So
is seeing.
I think Egwene and Gawain is my point.
Oh, okay.
So as far as them being couple being a bad idea, I disagree. I think
All
they
right.
deserve each other.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. I think we all
So-
came to a similar conclusion from different directions, but let's go ahead and
You
vote
used the
real
wrong
quick.
formula, but you still arrived to an agreeable answer. I'm
Wrong
gonna
is
say
such a
well,
strong statement.
we're gonna
Okay,
let the
thumbs
vote
up or
show
thumbs
it.
down.
We're gonna let the vote show, but I may or may not have been turned by a circle of less than 13.
So the question
Willpower
is
shit.
Gawain and Gawain and Egwene's relationship being friend zoned rather than romantic.
So romantic
Yay or
thumbs
nay?
up, friend zone thumbs down. So I'm gonna go with romantic. They should be romantic because they
They
deserve
should
each
be.
other.
Oh,
So
Yeah, and
Should be romantic is thumbs
should-
up.
romantic.
Should be
Romantic
friend
Wait,
zoned
wait.
is thumbs
Actually,
down.
I will say this because Andrew is the one who presented the opinion, and his
No,
opinion was
Andrew
that
is
they.
not the one who presented the opinion. Rob is the one who presented the opinion.
Rob,
No. This is Andrew's
was
idea. I
Andrew.
said that there's grounds for them to be romantic, but this is
No,
Andrew's idea.
it's
that they
definitely
should be
Daniel's
friends
idea.
instead.
we're just gonna pass the blame around.
okay, you know what? Thumbs up. They should be
So-
romantic.
Hold on.
Thumbs
The
down.
original-
they
the
should be
original-
friends.
the original
Matt's
statement-
idea. This is
The original statement
Matt's
Matt's
idea.
idea.
The Dusty Will. We'll blame him.
Matt.
Matt.
Yeah.
fucking Matt. The
Well, blame
original
Matt.
statement was that Egwene and Gawain would play out better in terms of how things go, how they end as a friendship rather than a romantic relationship. I
You're
wanna
correct.
let the
This
three
was
of you-
Andrews.
Yeah.
This
I
was
want to let the
100%
three of you
Andrews.
vote before I vote on mine, even though it's not that much. So, thumbs up if you agree that they would work
Sorry,
out better
making
as a
100% sure.
friendship. Yeah, thumbs up if you would. If
And
you
then-
agree that make out better as a friendship. Thumbs down as you think they work out better as they are. And I will say, after this discussion, I agree with you guys. Converted. I
Oh
think they
my
work
God.
out better
Okay,
as
thank
the
you,
as
Andrew.
the absolutely moronic, idiotic, fucking short-minded, stupid-ass couple, mainly on Gawain's side. Yes, the story works out better than they'd be in
Andrew,
love.
can I just tell you, I am not saying that any other person's opinion was lesser or anything along those lines. But the
Go ahead,
fact
my
that
hands over
you
the kick button.
could
Go ahead.
hear the other people's arguments and then change your answer makes you a bigger man.
You
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Just
sir.
saying that. Just,
I mean,
You are,
just
sir.
throwing
I've-
that out there.
You guys, you
I've
made
watched the other.
good
I've
argument.
watched the other YouTuber panels, and like, sorry, Andrew, you go.
Thank God somebody has. No, go ahead, Rob.
No, I was gonna say everyone else has come with their opinions and been like, well, this is what I think, be that, unpopular opinion or best character arc, worst character arc, and they've kind of
Oh
stuck
my
by
God,
what they've
you
said.
actually watched what we put
Yeah,
out
he did.
there.
He
I'm gonna
did.
put my name in the
Andrew,
heart for you.
and Jeff,
There you go.
okay?
Do you see it
have
beating?
watched
There you
everything
go.
you put on YouTube in terms of videos, and I have listened to, and this is not derogatory to, I cannot remember the names other than Fawn.
Any
I apologize,
individual
can't remember the
person
other
or their
host
platform.
name, but I have listened to every single one of your episodes except for the time that there was no Andrew, no Aaron, and nobody else. I listened to one episode. It wasn't for me. They were doing a great job. It wasn't for me, but I have listened to every single other episode up to about 73 or 74. I'm about 20 episodes, 25 episodes behind your current up-to-date stuff. I love you guys. You guys,
we love
this
you.
is when you said when you said, can I be, who wants to be on the podcast? I was like, I will, call in sick. I will murder someone to be there. I want to be there. I want to be on with you guys. Like, I love what you guys do. So yes, I have absolutely watched the other YouTuber panels. And yes, I want to be on the, best of each YouTuber panel section as well, obviously. I want to come back.
He knows about the unofficial contest.
You know what?
Oh, I do. I absolutely do.
So here's what I want to say to that. Thank you for plugging us.
Yes,
Now plug
please.
yourself.
Before we
Son
run
of
out
a
of
bitch,
time,
dude.
before we anything
You're
else.
here because we love you, and we
Accurate.
want the people to know your stuff.
Well, thank you. So, okay, right. Well, okay, I'll plug myself. So I do I do YouTube channel where I create Wheel of Time based food,
Which is the best channel.
It's true.
I'm not
It
saying that
makes-
he shouldn't plug
No.
anything else, but
it makes me
also
hungry every time.
it's
I
the
see
best
you.
channel.
I love.
It's-
You're the first.
I have
and
a-
dare
I have a
say
sous chef.
only Wheel of Time cooking show in existence at the moment.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah, actually. And I keep working on it. I have a sous chef in the Narg is my sous chef, and I've got a lot of
Yes.
fun planned for Narg to
Which
get
was
involved.
Narg
hilarious.
cook.
Yep, Narg cook.
Narg
Narg
no
cook.
like vegetables.
Narg want meat, yes. Yeah, he's very particular in what he wants. So I have a lot of plans for how that can evolve and to get Narg even more involved, as terrible as the sous chef as he is.
I
Yeah.
lost it watching that. The mushroom. By the way, the mushroom and pepper soup.
That was your suggestion, Josh. Yeah.
It was my suggestion, and it turned out so much better than I ever imagined.
Absolutely.
It was wonderful.
Like I had more fun with the Narg interaction than I had making the soup. And soup is my signature dish as a person, genuinely, to make.
Oh,
You know?
which
So I was like, this
is
is amazing.
deceptively difficult to do. So
It is. You're not wrong.
kudos, my good sir.
Thank you. On top of that, because I am wild about this fandom and all these people that I've meeting on Twitter Time and Discord, I do a theory podcast, which is called Malkier Talks as well. You can search both. It's on all the good podcasting stations. And, if you want, but you can still search Malkier Talks. I think you'll still find me. And I do a daily Tam joke on there.
Yes.
And I'm actually about to launch a Tam joke bracket. I'm doing 64 of the best voted for across Twitter and Instagram Tam jokes. I'm going to try and find the best Tam joke of them all. And that will be starting hopefully this Friday.
Well, you
but obviously
can
that's last.
guarantee that we will join in and vote
Oh,
on
thank you.
the
That's very kind.
best damn joke.
Well,
Because-
as if this is released next week, as based on when we're recording this, it will have launched last Friday, hopefully speaking. But I will make big waves on like trying to promote it. So yeah, that's kind of me. I get involved everywhere. I try and get in as much as I can because I love you guys. Not just you guys. I love the whole fandom. It's just
As do
amazing.
we.
It's
Indeed.
wonderful. And
So I'm still
Indeed.
waiting.
I think
I'm
I've plugged
still
myself
waiting
enough, to be honest.
for you. No.
On the black tower
Well,
cake.
yes, that. But I'm
We're
still
waiting
waiting
on that,
for
yeah.
you
I
to don the
promise
Hadori.
Ooh!
Well, you say that, and then I feel like I might be giving away something here, but I'm going to do it. Why not on the Black Tower podcast? Why not? I was contacted by my king, and he said to me, "I want to send you something. What's your address?" And I didn't inquire what. I was like, "Whatever you wish to send me, I am grateful for. That is very
As you
kind
do
and
when
not-
it's the king.
You don't have to do that."
Well, the
I
king.
said, I feel blessed that you've contacted me. I feel grateful that you want to send me something. I'm not going to pry. I would like it to be a surprise. Here is my address. And I left it there. So who knows what may happen.
Okay.
Who
but
knows what may
I
happen.
need you to know. I need you to understand that I am geeking out way more than I probably should be right now. but it legitimately excites me to know that your king is sending you something.
Your
Something,
king
I know.
and our
Like,
sword
this is
master.
Our Daishan. Like that guy is.
This is level with when Sarah Nakamura. I'm not. I've had a fair bit to drink. I'm not
It's
sure
all
I'm
right.
saying that correctly.
Hashtag blame the
when she
taint.
followed me back on Twitter,
Always.
I was like, "Oh my
Blame the taint.
god!" And then
we did
I've
the
got
same
my
thing.
king
I remember
yeah,
having
so
a Discord discussion where Josh may or may not have shit himself when that happened.
It totally
also,
happened.
I just want to throw out there, I may or may not have shit myself as well, like in solidarity. But
We stand united.
indeed.
yeah, I
Well,
was
thank
blown
you
away.
so much for joining us, Malkier Rob. You are fantastic. You are the chef extraordinaire. You have given us incredibly unpopular but also wonderful opinions as far as what the show should and should not do. We're coming up here on like 2.5 hours, so I think that we should probably call
We should
it
probably
here.
wrap it up, is what you're saying.
But
Yeah, probably,
again, thank you very, 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 very much to Matt at the Dusty Wheel for Innkeeper Hatch.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
sir.
so very much for Jenny over at Lezbi Nerdy. And
She's amazing.
again, thank you so very much for Rob over at Malkier Talks. This has been an absolute joy. I love doing these YouTuber panels, and I know that the other guys over here at the Black Tower absolutely love it as well.
Guys, where?
We have gotten
What?
we have
Guys
gotten
at the Black
so
Tower.
Love YouTube panel.
YouTube.
I did do.
Are you? Wait,
I
is
did do
Narga
the-
channeler? Is
I
Narga
did-
Nashimon?
No,
do
we
the
established Narg as a
Narg
furry.
I did do
Correct.
the Nargtrolic song.
No, it's true. It's true. Narg smart.
Narg
is a
are
great
smart.
song.
I'm still yet to
Nargtrolic,
have
wake
read whether
up,
Narg can
make
cook, but Narg is
armor.
definitely smart.
Indeed.
Narg,
Also,
Charlie, go
I
to
just
job.
want
If
to
you're
throw
smart,
out there,
people cook
I
for you.
may or may not be working currently on an entire Hamilton-based musical based on Randall Thor. So look out for that in your stuff.
Indeed.
We will be
Indeed.
back with another episode on Friday, which we will record tomorrow. But thank you so much again for all of our guests, especially Malkier Talks Rob, who has stayed with us until the very end. But
I'm always here to talk to you guys. Absolutely. I love it.
right? From all of us here at the Black Tower Podcast, this has been...
I don't know who you're
Wait,
pointing at.
who are
To
you
me, you're
pointing?
pointing
I
at
don't
Rob.
know.
You're
I don't know.
pointing to
I
Rob.
was
Thank
pointing
you
over
to
it.
all of us. To all of you, thank you from all of us at the Black Tower. I have been Josh, your Tsorvan Mahel.
And I have been Andrew, your Bajan Maya.
And I have been Daniel, your Aman Khan Mahale. And not only do I carry the flag around, but I also have the lovely send-off. I hope that you're all having a wonderful morning. And in case we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.